Extra Point with Jim Thunderbird and head coach Grant Redhead.
Hard to imagine, but it's already that time of the year. Welcome into the Extra Point for 2016. I'm Jim Thunderbird along with the coach, Grant Redhead.
Hi.
Man, it's good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, it's that time of year. You know, we get to do the show and all the fun stuff, and we're going to get some W's this year.
I think so too, man. I'm optimistic for this year. Last year had to be a disaster. What a tough way to get started, huh?
Yeah, it was. You know, moving in, being here for 2 months, and, you know, with the new construction, being moved to an elementary, there was just issue after issue. And we tried to weather it the best, and the kids did a good job. And I told the coaches, if we don't complain, they won't complain. And nobody really did, but it was just difficult. This year, we're back home. We're at the field house.
Yeah.
Life's good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Got a brand new school going up over there. That's going to be a nice addition to the family here pretty soon as you get started a little bit late. But I think the most important part is the football team this year. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. I saw a couple of the scrimmages this year. The last one against Anthony Wayne, I don't know that you could really come away with an awful lot from that ball game that night. Anthony Wayne's a pretty good football team.
Yeah, they have 3 Division I athletes on the field. The fact that we played them tough, they had 4 big plays, 3 of them got them down at 1 they scored on, 2 got them into scoring position. You know, out of the 4, I thought we did pretty good. Our defense battled. Last year was 35-0 at halftime. It wasn't really a game. This year they had to earn it. They had to punt a lot. There were some good things that we saw. Offensively, we got going a little bit, but, you know, it's just I've got a sophomore tight end going against the Division I offensive and defensive lineman.
Yes.
He's going to struggle. And
yes, he is.
I told him, I said, just keep your head up. It's going to get easier.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that we talked to their coaches up in the press box that night, and I said, how's your team going to be this year? And they said, well, we don't think we're going to be excellent, but we're quick. He says, we've got a lot of speed. And you can see that on that field. That running back that they had, the Brown kid, who they claim I think is going to Bowling Green next year. Boy, that young guy could fly, and I don't think you're going to see any better running back than you saw that night.
No, in fact, you know, they had more talent on the field than you take 2 or 3 teams that are good and take their best player and put them on.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. It's a good test. Their coach and I talked, we're not going to play anymore. They're looking for somebody bigger. We're looking somebody more along our lines to get us ready for game speed. But, you know, we came out healthy, and I was happy about that. And that's the number one thing, coming out healthy, getting better. We didn't have any bad quarterback exchanges with the center. You know, they've had some issues in the past. That was cleared up. We didn't play a dirty ball game. We didn't have many penalties, I should say. So things, you know, we saw positives.
Yeah, I thought so. The one that I saw the Defiant scrimmage. I thought that was a really good test for you guys. You could see in Defiance being a team relatively compatible with where you are, a little bit bigger school, but boy, you're out there battling, and it was a good ball game. That would have been a good game to watch that night.
Yeah, you know, we went down there. We'd had 3 days of contact. You know, that scrimmage is a little quick, but the format, you know, I was proud of our kids because they had a starting offense and a starting defense, and then they had some subs. I had 15. Okay, I had my starters and then my guys that started on the other way, and half of them started both ways.
Sure.
And those kids battled, you know, and then we went into quarters play to where we could get some guys in, but for the most part, the same kids were playing, and they played tough. You know, they didn't run out of gas. That's one thing. Our conditioning's good, and we've got our 2-way players ready and in good shape.
How was the offseason for conditioning, Coach? Good this year?
Yeah. We've added to the weight room. We've got 10 power racks now. This is one of the best facilities I've ever seen at high school, and I've seen a lot. It's better than some small colleges. We had great attendance. I had kids coming in at 6 a.m. Wow. Some actually at 5:30, so they had early bird classes, so they could come in, get a lift, go to school because they had basketball or wrestling or a winter sport.
This is going to be an interesting year for you because you're not dominated with seniors, but that core group that you have this year are going to be senior laden. I mean, you're going to depend on the seniors you've got this year, aren't you?
Yeah. You know, we've got our defense is senior heavy. They got a lot of experience last year. It's going to help us quite a bit. But we've also got some young guys that we're going to working in, so we don't run into the fact that, okay, you graduate 15 seniors and 14 starters and it makes it tough. We want to sit there and develop our program along and not just play these guys and, okay, what do we do now? We want to keep everybody developing and getting ready for next year.
Numbers pretty good this year because I think football basically as a general, all the way around the state of Ohio and Northwest Ohio, numbers are down almost at every program this year. But I think your numbers are pretty decent around here.
We're where we were last year, same amount. We had some that chose not to participate anymore. That's fine. Kids go on and do other things. They find other interests. But we've got enough for all three squads, freshman, JV, varsity.
And that's a plus, too.
Yeah.
The other thing I liked a lot was it doesn't look like you're going to have to go back down the ladder this year like you had to last year. There were times when you had freshmen legitimately out there on that football field because you had to have them out there last year. There wasn't any other choice. This year, I think you at least try to avoid that.
They're backups. There's 2 freshmen that can be backups if we have an injury at areas where we're not quite as deep as we'd like to be. But they're actually doing well. We'll throw them in if they can handle it against some of the older guys. Some of them can. Some of them need longer to develop. But these kids, they came in ready to work. They were here all summer and off season. Austin Dean, his brother's played before I got here. He's done a fantastic job at running back. He's my first go-to guy if I need somebody to get in there because he just hits the hole so well.
Yeah. So far this year, I think the point of emphasis has to be that offensive line, okay? Yeah. That's got to go so the entire team can go. Have you been happy with the way they progressed here in the preseason?
Yes, we've gotten better. They're understanding the blocking schemes better. They understand why we're doing it. They're starting to have fun with it. I got offensive linemen saying, Coach, run this play because we want to double team them. We're crushing it. They're enjoying that. Now, at Defiance, we were getting good doubles, but we weren't chipping off to the linebacker. Now, we're double teaming, and we're getting that tackle off to the backer, and we're having good holes to run through.
Yeah.
And, that's our offense. When you go to the old school offenses, you're going to pound the sledge against the boulder.
Yeah.
And you pound it and pound it and pound it, then it cracks, then it shatters. And that's the way the eye and the split backs and the wing tee and everything work. You just got to keep going because eventually you're going to make a mistake and you're going to grind them down with physical play.
Yeah. I think maybe the strength of the team are the 2 running backs that you got this year, too. Damon Belts looks like he's in great shape and ready to go. The Rittenhauer kid looks like he's in pretty good shape, too. So it looks like you got a couple running backs that can make this offense go.
Yeah, Damon's done a fantastic job. He also starts every play on defense.
Yeah.
We're having to play Dylan Wagner more on the line, so Damon stepped in at that Mike linebacker spot, and it's just been shot out of a gun and coming downhill and making some good hits. He's in great shape. He's doing a good job. When we give him the ball, he runs hard. Rittenhouse is doing all right. Like I said, he's back healthy from his shoulder. We've got still developing a quarterback. Drew Peters is doing well, but, the passing game's getting better, and they'll be able to take some pressure off the run game eventually.
Do you think is Novus going to be back at all to be a quarterback before the year's over, do you think? Oh, that's good news.
He's cleared for contact this week. He has been practicing. He's been able to do footwork, just not throw. Now he's cleared. Then he was able to throw last week, no contact. Now he's cleared for everything.
I know they keep saying Drew's been a quarterback all his life. Drew Peters has been a quarterback. But I've always liked him as a halfback, a slot back. He's so doggone good out in space. If you can get him the ball out in the field somewhere, to make him a quarterback, it kind of limits the abilities that he's got.
Good thing is he touches the ball every play.
Yeah.
He gets it in his hands every play. So if the play breaks down, he can use his feet. We saw that some at Hicksville. We saw it some at Defiance. The big thing is, we're rolling him out to get him to where he can see his receivers. Sometimes he's not the tallest. He can see, but it's harder. And when we get him out of the pocket, he seems to throw better. So
yeah. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. I did notice it looks like the secondary was pretty darn solid. Defiance, you had a couple of picks down there. They had some nice plays against Anthony Wayne the other night as well. So I think that secondary is looking pretty good.
Coach Miner, our D coordinator, moved back there, and I went to linebackers. Okay, and I took his spot just because, I wanted to work with those guys, and I knew we needed him back there in the back. Because Coach Garza is now one of our K-9 units, so he has to do junior high because of his work responsibility. So it worked out. We got Colin Walker on the staff. He's helping with secondary. We also added Nathan Keel from the junior high staff, who's been fantastic. Him and Walker are huge additions. They've done a great job. We're miles ahead. Even with the school not being open, I don't mind. Because even today, the kids are coming in at 2, watching film, then we're going to go practice.
Yeah.
We've got lifting and film on Mondays and Wednesdays, lifting or film and practice on Tuesday, Thursdays. we're getting a lot of football done.
Yeah, well, that might be a blessing in disguise to have this high school opening up a couple weeks later than everybody else.
I told them they could start this time every year.
Well, we got a big ball game coming up against Van Wert. We're going to take a step away right now on the extra point, brought to you by Brian Ford Lincoln. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's game right after this. Coach, let's get into something that we're talking about off camera right now, because it's something that people are going to see. You got a big old TV sitting on the sideline with you right now, okay? Now, for everybody that's wondering, you're not watching the Florida State North Carolina game on Friday night.
Right.
Okay, I mean, but that has become a tool now that you can use on the sideline.
This is the third season that video instant replay is allowed in Ohio and throughout the United States, a lot of different states. What you can do is, we have a closed Ethernet system. Nobody can gain access to it. It sends, goes from my camera to an iPad. The coach runs it on the iPad. Then with the iPad, he takes and uploads it. It comes down to the one I have on the sideline. So I can show my players 5-6 seconds after the play. I have the play uploaded, and I can play it for them and show them, look, you didn't step with your right foot. Look, you should have thrown here because they were in cover two. I can do a lot of things, and I can show the kids their mistakes instead of wait until Saturday morning and say, look, you should have done this.
Sure.
I can fix it right then and there.
Wow, which could really turn the whole ball game around.
It's huge.
I would think, you know, because I go back to my days as a kid. I never thought I took a wrong step. Okay, I never thought I didn't do what the coach told me. Now the coach saw it, and once he showed it to you on film on Saturday morning, you went, uh-oh, he was right, which he always was. But now to be able to do it on a Friday night, oh my God.
Yeah, and even with having coaches that spot on headsets up in the box, that we still are going to have that. But the thing is, they can't see everything.
No.
Now each coach can go through and we can look at it and we can sit there and, you know, when we're on defense, I'm looking at it for the offense. I'm showing my quarterback. I'm showing my lineman. You know, we have the TV when we're at home. It's kind of hard to take it. We haven't figured out how to transport that big flat screen and, you know, we have a small generator was donated. The TV was donated. You know, a lot of people have come and said, here you go, let's help you out with that. But for right now, away games, we're going to use iPads. Home games, we use the big TV and an iPad and things. And it helped us out last week. We corrected mistakes on the spot.
What a great situation. That's wonderful. Let's turn our attention now to Van Wert. The Cougars, this is the longest opening night rivalry in the state of Ohio. They do look at it as a rivalry. I think we look at it as a rivalry, even though we're in opposite corners here. They're in the WBL, we're in the NWOAL. It's kind of fun to open up with the same team every year, don't you think?
I think so. You know, they've got a good program and a class program. You know, the kids play tough and hard and keep their mouth shut. I like playing guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, last year we gave them a run for their money. You know, we were even up for a while until we started throwing it to the wrong colored jersey.
Sure.
You know, and the first time in my career I saw 3 interceptions go for touchdowns. Hopefully I never see it again. But I think we got them this year. I like our chances. I like what we're doing. They have a lot of two-way players. We were last year.
Right.
They only have 8 returning lettermen. I got 19.
Right.
Okay, I've got kids that are coming back with experience and you know, they're inexperienced. First time a lot of these guys are going to start in a varsity football game. So I think that's advantages to us and some other things.
Yeah. Well, I watching them doing their homework on these guys, 20-plus seniors they lost last year. Their top 7 offensive linemen are gone, so they got a brand new offensive line out there that you can deal with
new
this
quarterback,
week.
New quarterback,
new running back. Yeah,
almost knew everything.
Yeah.
I'm just licking my chops, and like I said, I want to take a physical ball game to them. You know, I want to wear them down.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can do that. Their best players play both ways, and we can just sit there and just keep pounding and pounding and pounding. And eventually they're going to run out of gas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that sounds like the way to end this thing here today, because it sounds like the game plan is just to go out and be physical on Friday night.
Yeah, we can do that. If you can play physical football week in and week out, you can win some ball games.
Yeah.
I mean, that, no matter if you're in the spread, in the eye, no matter what you do defensively, you got to play physical, period. And I think this team's a lot more physical than we were last year, and I think we're going to improve.
I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Well, that'll wrap up our first edition here for the 2016 season on Extra Point. Van Wert Brian Football is on its way next here on BMU TV.
Extra Point with Jim Thunderbird.
We're here. Are we good to go?
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Anchor Stadium in Van Wert, Ohio. I'm Jim Funderburg, along with Chris Malinga, as we get ready for the 2016 kickoff of the high school football season. Christopher, the Van Wert Cougars, the Bryant Golden Bears, they do it every year this time.
Yeah, it's the longest opening night high school football rivalry in the state of Ohio. And we're here in Van Wert, lovely Van Wert. Took the detours down 127, and we are here tonight for week number 1 of the high school football season.
Well, you know what, I'll tell you what, last year was not a pretty game. Van Wert really had a football team last year that could very easily have gone 10-0 on the season.
Yep.
Just a couple of games that they lost in very difficult situations. They ended up 5-5 instead, and they had several guys, though, that went on to play some college ball this year. Nolan Smith is at Wayne State. He was all WBL and also a wrestler here last year. Gavin Gardner, Cullen Smith. Smith's at Davenport University. Gardner is at St. Francis over in Fort Wayne. And our buddy back at WQCT tonight and WBNO, who are working on some things, are basically, he's a San Francis guy. Gavin Cross is a tight end. He's at Ashland. And then you also have Tristan Connor, who was at Bluffton this year. So, you know, anytime you can put kids on to the next level out of a high school program, you're doing things well. Coach Riker doing a great job with his team as he's turned things around. The numbers are good. They've got some seniors back here again, and the quarterback that they were talking about is only a sophomore. His name is Lawson Blackmore. And number 8 will also be doing the kicking off as the Bears will have the football to open up the ball game here tonight as we get ready to go.
Now, did we win the toss or did they win the toss?
I have no idea. They shot that cannon off, and at that point in time, my heart stopped. And when I came back to, after being resuscitated by some nice paramedics around here, I had to kind of figure out where I was and who I was again. So the Bears will put color back deep on the home side of the football field, and on the top side of the football field, they'll actually run back Brandon Farrell. Farrell is 22. Both the players back on about the 10, and they'll squib this one on the ground. And it'll be picked up by Color down on the 20. He'll bring it up the left hash mark. He'll be across the 30. And on his feet at about the 32-yard line, the Golden Bears will have some pretty good field position here on the home hash mark, first down and 10.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were going to expect from that because of, at the Anthony Wayne scrimmage, we didn't get any kickoffs.
Yeah, exactly. First time that we've seen that in the evening, on a Friday evening, and we'll get to all our sponsors and everything else here tonight, but it's great to have you with us here tonight. Obviously, the Bears will start with more of a pro set here, and an eye look here the first time. Drew Peters, the quarterback, and he'll be under center. His 2 running backs, Rittenhouse and also Damon Belts behind him, and they'll hand the first guy, the big fullback. And right up off the left guard, Damon Belts goes out across the 35-yard line to about the 36. Palmer makes the tackle for Van Wert, but give him a good solid 3, and it's second down and 7 now for the Bears. Just underway. Great to have you here tonight. Week number 1, Christopher. It's always hard to imagine.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Just comes so quickly, and especially with our guys not being in school, that makes it even a little more difficult. Josh Jones will be the single wide receiver. He's here on the home side, and on the top side will be Color. Again, the eye look, and they'll turn this time to Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse will try the right corner, and he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage. He'll be able to lean forward for maybe a yard, possibly 2. Evan Williams will make the stop, and Rittenhouse will get 2. And that'll set up a third down and about 4. They'll give him almost 3 as they got all the way out to about the 38-yard line, Chris.
It's good to see the running game getting started a little bit. A couple yard gains. It's a lot better than what we saw during the last scrimmage.
Yeah, no, it was a slow start and a difficult situation all the way around for these guys. Cole Arthur now, the wide receiver here on the visitor side. 1 wide out here on the bottom and a wide receiver to the top. Again, back in the eye, and they will throw the ball across the middle and right through Josh Jones' hand. Unfortunately, that one a little bit too tall, but Jones had both hands on it. He just couldn't pull it down as he's had that little crossing route right across the middle of the field. That would have been enough for the first down, but instead they'll have to kick the football away. And you want to talk about a young guy who's going to going to play an awful lot in this this ball game tonight. I would think Josh Jones is going to be one of those guys as he now lines up back deep to punt.
He will do it all. He'll kick off. He'll kick extra points. He'll punt. Oh, they almost got him. Did they flag him? Nope.
Jones gets a nice snap, a nice high kick. And the Van Wert receiver will kick the ball at the 25-yard line, try to cut his ground, but there's Bears all over the place. He'll get back to about the 28-yard line, and he will be knocked down right there. That was Nate Pallas, was the young man that was returning that ball. And we do have a flag. Was that on the other end down there? Or
it was right at the 50. So
okay, probably a holding call maybe against Van Wert, but we'll wait to see. So the Bears had the ball. Going to be a sideline infraction here early, and it's kind of hard to do here. Not hard to do here because the stadium and then the sidelines and the field are kind of tight here at Eggers Stadium. If you've never been here, it's a unique place to do football and watch football. On the other side of the equation here tonight, it will be Lawson Blackmore, who won the starting quarterback job, and he will start in a shotgun or pistol look. Right behind him to his left is Jacoby Kelly. He's a 5'9" junior. He'd be the only running back in the backfield. There'll be a receiver right around right end, but they'll turn and hand to Kelly. And Kelly will go off left tackle for about 2, maybe 3 as he crosses the 30-yard line, and they'll mark him down at about the 31. Lucas Nye with the tackle for the Bears. Give him a short 3 on that one, 2nd down and 7. 10:08 to play. We're just underway here in the first quarter from Eggers Stadium in Van Wert. Golden Bears and the Cougars doing a little battle on a Friday night. We expect things to be a little bit shaky early. Quarterback will roll to his left. There's some pressure. Devontae Royster knocks the quarterback down. The ball then thrown well out of bounds as Royster came from his left end spot, and he had all kinds of heat on Lawson Blackmore, and Blackmore slow to get up off the grass here at Eggers Stadium.
Well, that was some good penetration right into the backfield, and Devontae Royster coming from that end position just came in and got the arm just as he was throwing, and it was a little slow getting up, but he's back, and Blackmore is ready to go again.
Royster on one end, it's Oliphant or Farrell on the other end, and then you've got Ford and Kornick there in the tackle spots. 3rd down now. Quarterback drops in the shotgun. Now he'll keep the ball, but he's going nowhere as the Bears are there, and I believe that's Farrell on the bottom of that pile who wrapped up the quarterback's leg and wouldn't let him get out of the pocket. He'll actually lose about 3 yards on that play. It'll set up a 4th down and 11. So both offenses have been on the floor, on the field right now one time, Chris, and neither one of the teams able to do any better than 3 and out.
Yep. And Jones is actually going back to return the punt as well.
Well, you knew that Josh Jones was going to play a big role in this team this year. Bears with a big rush, but they get the kick off, and it will take a bounce. It will bounce past Jones at the 20-yard line. Then he picks it up, and a shoestring tackle will stop him down around the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. Bagley made the tackle down there. Jones let it pass behind him. Then he looked like he was going to let it roll, and at the last second he scooped it back up and tried to get around the end, and there was a Van Wert Cougar right there to drop him for a pickup of a couple. So the Bears will have the football on the 23-yard line. 1st down and 10, 9:07 to play here in this first quarter. Again, going back over the starting lineup for the Bears, Peters is the quarterback. The running backs tonight, Bells and Rittenhouse. Receivers, Culler, Jones. Matt Harrell will be your tight end. The offensive line of Jordan Robb at center, Beck and Wagner at guard. Sanchez and Kornick are your tackles. And right now that eye look with the 2 wide receivers for the Golden Bears as Peter goes under center. He'll turn, he'll hand to Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse has room right up the middle of the field. Nice opening, and he'll be close to the 30-yard line. So Rittenhouse will get close to 7 on that first run. Evan Williams will make the tackle. They'll say 6 as they give him just inside that 30 at the 29. And it'll be 2nd down now at about 4 for the Bears. Nice job to open up a hole in the interior of that offensive line for the Bears. On the other side of the defense tonight for Van Wert, we'll get to those guys in just a minute. Culler now back in the game. He is wide on the home side. Jones, the wide receiver, to the visitor's side. And again, that I formation with Drew Peters under center. He turns, hands off to Rittenhouse, but this time Rittenhouse will be knocked down in the backfield. As Rittenhouse had absolutely no place to go as Evan Williams came in from his inside linebacker's spot, and he was at Rittenhouse almost as soon as Rittenhouse got the football. He'll lose about half what he gained on the first time. It'll set up a 3rd down now and about 7 for the Bears.
Yeah, lost 3 on the play.
8:02 to play first quarter. Good to have you with us here tonight, whether you're listening to us on BryanSports.com, on WQCT, on the WQCT stream, or on the TuneIn app here tonight. It's great to have you with us as we start the football season. Again, the I formation. Peter's going to drop and throw. He'll throw to the left flank. He's got Jones complete and out of bounds for the first down. Close to the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out at around, well, let's see. They're going to move him all back and say he stepped out actually at about the 35, but that will be enough for a first down. Jones was up at around the 40 when you saw him on the sideline, but he must have stepped out early. So 1st and 10, first down of the night for either football team, and the Bears move the sticks with 7:42 to play here in the first quarter. Again, I formation. Jones now on the visitor's side, color to the top. Van Wert jumps, but were they drawn offsides? We're about to find out.
Nope, there was offsides on them.
That'll be an easy 5 yards if they can get this one. Again, we'll set up the defense now for the Van Wert Cougars. At nose, it's Jordan Danilchuk. On the ends, it's Bagley and Reichert. Outside linebackers are Palmer, Williams, and Utzler. Outside, and they've got a couple names we need to go talk to the guys about here. Gutierrez is the free safety. Palace is a corner, and Kelly the other corner, and both teams have a number of guys that go both ways. So the 5-yard penalty makes it 1st down and 5. They'll turn and hand the ball to Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse has room coming around the left end. He won't get the first down, but he'll get about 3 yards of that 5 that he needed, and he'll set up a 2nd down now and short for the Golden Bears. Gutierrez and Williams, the tackle for Van Wert. 2nd down and 2 now for the Golden Bears. And then offensive line tonight, Chris, doing a much better job of opening some holes.
Yeah, they really are. They're getting some penetration through that defensive line. And what amazes me is how far out Color's lining up. When the Bears are snapping the ball from the right hash mark, Color is all the way outside the left hash mark, way outside. And so if he could somehow get free and get open.
Color wide on the home side. Peter's going to run around the right end as he faked the throw. He'll have the first down. He'll cross midfield. He's into Van Wert territory. Out of bounds, down around the 42-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 41. Decent Bears crowd here tonight, and they're happy. Obviously, we're on the opposite side of the field tonight, as we always are here at Eggers Stadium. Chris, in amongst the red and white and gray here of the Van Wert Cougars. So the first down, the second of the night for the Golden Bears, puts the ball inside Cougars territory at the 41-yard line. 1st down and 10. 6:55, the clock is stopped here. Opening quarter, no score on the main stops scoreboard here tonight. Don't forget 2 different locations of main stops down in Bryan.
16-yard pickup there for Peters. It was a nice tuck and run. He didn't have anything to go, and he was able to pick it and go.
Peters with a delay to Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse follows these blockers right up the center of the field, and he'll have 4 on that pickup, maybe give him 5. Palmer on the tackle there for Van Wert. Now they move him back to what I'm calling 4, and they were calling 5, and I think it was a pickup of 4. The ball actually marked on the 37-yard line. 2nd down and 6, so give Rittenhouse 4. But again, that little delay draw as they allow Belts to open up a hole, and then Rittenhouse can pick wherever the opening is, and so far tonight he's been able to find 4 or 5 yards right up the center of the field. Again, an I formation. They'll move the tight end over to the top of the field, and we've got a whistle before the play will start and a delay of game on the Golden Bears as the clock ran out on the play clock here tonight. Ball game being brought to you tonight by the Bryan Main Stops. They've got locations on both ends of town now. The Coaches Show, the Extra Point, brought to you by Bryan Ford Lincoln, always right down the road from high prices. Krill Funeral Home and Crematory, Northwest State Community College, Bryan Athletic Boosters, Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, Andrews O'Neill and Lowe, and Darrow Shirkey Ford, our sponsors this evening. And we thank them for helping you be able to listen to this ball game, opening night of the 2016 football season. 2nd down now and 11 for the Golden Bears. Ball on the 48-yard line. Peter's going to throw a pass. He's got Belts in the left flat. Belts has a little running room, but then everything clogs up quickly. He'll get across the 40. Pick up about 2, maybe 3. They'll mark him down on the 41-yard line. Cavillage will make the tackle there for Van Wert, and it'll be 3rd down now and 8. And boy, that delay of game penalty really hurt him, Chris.
Yeah, it did.
Give him that 5 yards on this one, and you're talking 3rd down and short.
Yep.
Clock is moving, 5:23 and counting, opening quarter of the football season. No score here on the main stop scoreboard. Bears again with 2 wide receivers. Colors on the visitor's side. Jones on the top side. Belts in his fullback position. And the Bears step up and move. And that will be offsides against the Golden Bears, who got just a little bit anxious. And Ryan Pekornik catching a little bit of conversation from the sideline, I guess we'll call that, Chris, from his coach. Coach Miller over there, I think I could hear every word he was saying, and we're about as far away from that guy as anybody in the stadium here right now. 5:06, the clock is counting. First quarter, no score. Bears with the football now, 3rd down at about 15. Need a big pickup as they have the football on the Van Wert 45-yard line. Peters will roll to his right. He throws a little too high. Color should have had it, went right through his hands, down around the 34-yard line. Then it was going to be a matter of whether he could turn up the field and get the last couple he needed. But instead, that ball went right between his hands and incomplete. And the Bears will now have a 4th down situation. And I would believe that Josh Jones is going to come out and kick this ball away.
I would think.
Football resting right on the 45-yard line of the Van Wert Cougars.
Be an awful long field goal.
Yeah, you're not going to try to kick it. But you know what? Jones has really shown some nice range for that field goal. Hey, the coach got his team on the field right now.
I like
Back
that.
in the I formation, 2 wideouts, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Peters goes under center. He'll drop straight back and looking to throw. Now he's going to roll to his right, and he's got some heat. He eludes the tacklers and throws down the field. This one a little high and over Josh Jones's head.
I like the call, though, Jim.
4th down conversion will go for naught, and the Bears will turn the football over on downs on the 44-yard line. Why don't we take our first time out of the evening here? Bears and the Cougars are scoreless here on the Main Stop scoreboard here on BryantSports.com.
Mark and Rachel Bagley.
Probably just give us one. Back here at Eggers Stadium, Jim Funderburk and Chris Malenga, as the turnover on downs gives the ball back to the Cougars. And let's see if the Bears defense can be as stingy as they were the very first time. Bad snap, ball's in the air, picked up by the running back in midair, and he will fight and lose the ball again as he turns the right corner. Whose ball is it? It's Van Wert, 2nd down. That was an interesting little play. The ball kind of snapped a little weird from the center. Lawson Blackmore, the quarterback, had it go through his hands, and then Jacob Kelly, the running back, picked it up. He only lost a yard, and that could have been a major disaster and would have been a big break for the Golden Bears. Handoff to Kelly. He's not going anywhere. Tried to go up the middle of the field, and the Bears were right there. He'll get maybe a yard, set up a 3rd down and 10, and the Bears were right there waiting for things. Great situation so far for the Bears. Connor Ford on the tackle right there for the Bears, as the young man right in the middle, a 5'7", 220-pound sophomore, starting to make a name for himself here tonight on a Friday night. Blackmore drops, ball is tipped, incomplete, and again, look at number 5, Devontae Royster, who is bringing the heat around that left end. Got himself up in the air, tipped the ball up in the air, and Lawson Blackmore and everybody else were looking for the football. It ended up laying on the ground about 5 yards away from everybody in the backfield. That'll set up a 4th down at the 3:40 mark here in the first quarter. And Van Wert again with no first downs on the night, about ready to kick this football back. Jones back deep, he's on the 20. They're having some problems with the center. Kick goes off the side of the kicker's foot and goes out of bounds. Now we're going to have to wait to see where they spotted it. It looks like it's going to be somewhere down around the 30-yard line. They'll walk it back from the 30 back to about the 33. And the Bears will have the football again, 1st down and 10 with 3:33 to go here in the first quarter. So the Bears with their 3rd offensive possession here tonight, Chris, and I think the coach has to be extremely happy with the way that defense has been playing.
So 1st down fumble and then 2 incomplete passes, right, on that last drive?
Yeah.
So,
and some great heat from Devontae Royster. That was a young guy that we wondered, how was this going to be the year that he maybe broke out and started playing some football. Bears again with receivers to the top and the bottom. Arthur is the receiver here on the visitor side. This will be a pitch. Rittenhouse rolls to his right. Now he cuts it back to the middle of the field. He'll get across the 40-yard line. So Rittenhouse gets about 6 on that opening sweep. And a nice job by Van Wert to seal the left end, but a great, even better job for Rittenhouse to be able to see that and cut it back right towards the center of the field and scoot his way up for 6 easy yards. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to play here, first quarter. The Bryan Main Stop scoreboard has 2 big goose eggs on it right now. They're the new sponsor for our scoreboard this year. And I think the Bears are going to call a timeout. They will. So the Bears will call a timeout, the first one of the night here with 2:59 to play in the first quarter. Main Stop scoreboard, Bears 0, Cougars 0 here on BryanSports.com.
Snow, rain, salt, grit, and grime. Dirty shoes, spare change, food wrappers, and years of dust and dirt. These things have taken a toll on your family vehicle's exterior and interior. Admit it, if your family vehicle could talk, it would be begging to look like it did when you drove it off the lot. So treat your car to a custom detailing job inside and out at Whelan's Auto Repair in Bryan.
Not only do we service all makes and models, but we now offer professional detailing services too. Bring your car or truck in today and we'll send it home with a smile.
Many area residents associate Tony's Car Care with the thoroughness of our detail work. Every inch has to be spotless. People say we have put the detail in detailing for almost 30 years. Now when the engine light comes on your dash, or you need an oil change, tires, or brakes, think of Tony's and understand we take the same pride in our repair work as we do in our detailing. Tony's Car Care, from window tinting to everyday car repair.
I am Tony Signs and you have my word that we will take care of you.
.259 to play here in the first quarter as the Bears with their first timeout come back out in that very familiar look. 2 wide receivers, I formation, quick pop pass to Josh Jones is behind him on that quick slant. And I'll tell you what, if they hit that, Josh Jones is on his way to the races because he really had enough room between he and the next red shirt to get some separation, and then we just see who the fastest guy on the field is at that point in time. Instead, it'll set up a 3rd down and 5 as that pass a little bit high and a little bit behind him. That's going to be the key for the year, I think, Chris, to see whether Drew Peters can find his range on these in this passing game this year.
Yep, absolutely. He's had some time, though, which he hasn't had a lot of.
Farrell now goes in at the fullback spot as Belts takes a breather. Rittenhouse still the halfback standing up in the backfield. Peters will roll to his right, and he'll throw. And he's got Colt Arthur on the sideline. I think Arthur got his feet down. Did he hang on to the football, or did it go out of bounds? They say it's complete on the visitor's sideline, and that will be a 1st down as the ball will move the sticks close to the 50-yard line. It will stay on the Bears 49, but the pickup will be enough to move the sticks and give the Bears another 1st down. Clock stopped at 2:50 to play here in the opening quarter. Bears have really had time of possession in their favor here in this first quarter, but so far have not been able to score.
Drew Peters is 3 for 7 for 29 yards passing now.
Jones on that flanker screen on the left side, breaks the tackle, heads up the left sideline. He's into Van Wert territory and inside the 35-yard line. And that's exactly what I was talking about, yep. Chris. I do believe Josh Jones is as quick as anybody on that football field. And that ball will be marked on the Van Wert 34, 1st down and 10. Clock stops with 2:43 to play, and now we'll restart.
Pickup of 17 on that pass play, Jim.
$17 yards for the Golden Bears. 2:30 and counting right now. Peters, but before he could make anything happen, I think Josh Jones took a little step down here right in front of the line judge, who had that flag out of his pocket kind of quickly. Chris, he was standing there watching the action.
Quite obvious, quite obvious.
So the 5 yards will cost the Bears a 1st and 10 to make it 1st and 15, move the ball back to the 39-yard line. They'll reset the clock with 2:25 and get it ticking again. Interesting first quarter stats, I think, Chris,
yeah.
because we've, as far as domination at this point in time, I think we have just absolutely dominated the offensive stats, but we really have not been able to show any signs of scoring a touchdown yet. Peters drops, throws across the middle. His receiver fell down. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him and was almost intercepted. Tipped by Aquaviva.
Was that Matt Harold intended for, or was that Jones?
That was Jones up there on the top, yep. So Peter goes to the sideline for just a minute, talks to the coach, and comes back inside. Jones, I think, was going to cut that way, lost his footing, and then it was very close to an interception. Clock moves down to 2:03 to play, opening quarter. Clayton Farrell again at that fullback spot. John Rittenhouse at the halfback spot. Peters will roll to his right. Got good protection. Throws the ball deep and out of bounds and over Josh Jones's head. Then Jones was covered pretty well down along the sideline inside the 20 at about the 15-yard line. Edens was the young man from Van Wert on the coverage, and I'll tell you what, Jones really had nowhere to go, and Peters had nowhere to throw that football at that point in time. Had to throw it away, and a good decision, I think, on his part.
Yeah, it was a good battle going on between him and number 22 for Van Wert down the sideline there. Or maybe it was 12, Gutierrez.
Nope, you're right. You had 22. That was exactly the guy that was down there. So the Bears have a big third down here. 3rd down and 15, but they've already shown they'll go for it right here on 4th down if they don't get anything even. Jones, wide receiver here on the visitor's side. Pass rush on Peters. Peters makes the first guy miss, but then all of a sudden runs out of room, and Evan Williams has the monster sack as Peters retreated all the way to the midfield stripe and was brought down right at the 50-yard line. So an 11-yard loss on the play, and the Bears now face a 4th down and long.
I don't think they'll be going for it here.
No, I don't think so either. Nate Place will drop back deep. He'll stand at his 10-yard line. Josh Jones will be at his 35-yard line waiting for the snap. Good snap. Takes his time, gets a foot in it. Nice high spiral. Place will run up to get it, but the ball will bounce in front of him and take a Cougar bounce and then bounce back towards the Golden Bears. And the Cougars will eventually fall on it at the 25-yard line. Everybody's yelling, get away from that, get away from that. And number 5, Kobe Palmer, just kind of snuck in the middle of it and fell on the pile, and I think everybody was a little concerned at that point.
To the chagrin of the coach, who just told everybody to get away, and then he looked up with his hands like, what are you doing?
1:04 to play in the opening quarter. Both offenses starting to find their way just a little bit. The Bears offense has been a little bit better than what I expected this early, and the defense has been extremely solid so far for the Bears. For the Bears, the ends are Clayton Farrell and Devontae Royster, Ryan Pekornik and Connor Ford, the tackles, Oliphant, Belts, and Nye, the linebackers, Arthur Jones, Farrell, and Shankster, the defensive backs. And again, the pistol look with a single running back look for the Van Wert Cougars. They've got 3 wideouts to the front. Little nice shuttle pass to the flanker, and a nice hard run for the best run of the night by Williams. Advances the ball out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. Shankster with the tackle. They'll give him 8 instead of 9. 2nd down here and 8, and we're under a minute to play. Hold it a minute. Van Wert was all over the place. Procedure call as the entire left side of the Van Wert offensive line looked like they were going to do a little scrum right there on the left side. All of a sudden they were in a dance routine there, Chris.
Going back to that shovel pass, man, that was perfectly played.
Yeah.
The Bears were coming towards the quarterback, and he was able to kind of get out of the way just in enough time to get that ball to Williams, who was able to cut it upfield just a little bit. So that was a good play.
Williams, a senior, he's 5'10" and 210 pounds, 5'11" and 210. So a good-sized young man. He's sitting on the wing right now on the right side, and he'll head that direction. He'll hand the ball to Palmer. He's got it. Has a little room. Is across the 30 to about the 36 as the hole opened off a left tackle. But the Bears quick to seal it off. Damon Belt's one of the first guys there. And Brandon Farrell also with the help. 3rd down now and 4 for the Cougars, and we're down to 10 seconds to play here in this opening quarter. Looks like they'll get one more play off. I'm not sure. They look at the sideline. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. 0, 0, 0. So that will be the end of the first quarter. We've played one here in Van Wert. The main stops of Brian's scoreboard shows it scoreless here on BrianSports.com.
Every day, busy young executives travel the world in search of that next big deal. And when their plane lands, the first thing on their mind is a great place to stay. When it comes to Northwest Ohio, that's the Plaza Motel. They know the Plaza has the high-speed internet connection they need, all their favorite TV channels, and a great morning breakfast. Next time you touch down in Northwest Ohio, stop by and see why TripAdvisor travelers make the Plaza their place to recharge before they take off again.
You know, gathering with those we love, we get to catch up and we get to reflect on the past.
It seems like every time we get together, I always learn something new.
Here's the front page of the Columbus Dispatch when he won state baseball tournament, sliding into home plate.
Look at that, the front page. And that's a neat picture.
That was a great memory. I'll never forget that.
At Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, we understand that there are special memories that need to be remembered and shared.
Back here in Van Wert, welcome in on a Friday night. Again, we kind of left one part of information out maybe early on because things started so quickly tonight. The Bears in their road whites with the purple numbers and the gold helmets with a kind of a new broad stripe to the middle of that helmet. And tonight, Van Wert obviously in their home unis with the gray pants with the red stripe coming up the side, the red jerseys and the red, white, and gray trim. And then some really cool helmets, Chris. I kind of like those helmets too.
Nice. Those are really nice. After this play, we'll get you caught up with some stats for the first half, or the first quarter rather.
Blackmore in a pistol. He'll bring a wide receiver across the top. They run the spread. He'll again run left side and then shuttles it back in the middle. And he's got to run it back in the move. Across the 50 into Golden Bear territory goes number 17, Evan Williams. Same exact play they had a minute ago. And Williams was just absolutely all by himself when they shuttled that pass over to him. Again, this is a spread offense. If you remember Van Wert from last season, they'll put two wide receivers to the top. They've got a wingback in Evans on the right side, right on top of their offensive tackle. They'll turn and hand to Kelly this time. Kelly dances in the hole, and the Bears say, nope, no dancing zone around here. You're going down after a pickup of about 2.
I think that was the first down for Van Wert.
I think you're right. And you know, when we get just a second, I'm interested in these stats. Just underway second quarter.
Kelly?
That was Kelly for 2. Just underway second quarter, 11:20 to play here. No score in Van Wert on the main stops scoreboard. Snap from the pistol. Quarterback drops, throws across the middle, and again, his favorite receiver is number 17, Evan Williams. Williams ran a little slide pass out of the backfield right up the seam. Catches the ball at the 25. Brandon Farrell made the tackle immediately, but it's good for a first down as the ball will be placed just inside the 25 at the 24. And the first real serious threat of the evening here goes to the Cougars as they have the football inside the Golden Bear 25 with just under 11 to play here in the second quarter. Blackmore again, the quarterback, has Kelly to his right, fakes the handoff. Devontae Royster's there. Blackmore was able to get it off, but again, a good job by the Bears to be able to play some defense. And it was number 4, Lucas Nye, with some really nice coverage that time. And you have to credit that incompletion basically to the great pass rush by Devontae, who with one more step probably would have had Lawson Blackmore down in the backfield. Blackmore did a nice job to get that ball even close to a receiver. And again, a nice job by the Golden Bears in defense as Lucas Nye had some tight coverage and wouldn't allow that ball to be caught.
Bears with 4 first downs in the first quarter to none for Van Wert. The Bears were 2 of 5 on third down, and they have 66 total yards to Van Wert's 55 total yards. 38 of those passing.
Kelly with the draw play has some room up the middle. He gets across the 20 to the 19. Josh Jones with the tackle there, tried to strip the ball away, couldn't do it. They'll give him 5. It's 3rd down and 5 now for the Cougars as they have the football inside the red zone for the first time tonight with the ball on the 19-yard line. Clock rolling, 10:21 to play, second quarter. Again, no score in the ball game. Van Wert with their best offensive effort here of the evening. Here comes the blitz, a little flanker screen, and it's complete, and it's going for a touchdown. Inside the 10, down to the 5, and into the end zone goes Nate Place. A little crossing pattern with their flanker screen over the middle of the field. Got a little brush on a couple of the defensive backs, and once Place got his hands on the football at the 10, there was really nobody around to touch him other than another guy in a red shirt. So a couple of the Bears backs got caught up in that in the wash there. And the touchdown will be the first points of the night for the Van Wert Cougars. And the main stop scoreboard shows it's 6-0 right now. Cougars with the extra point about ready to be tried. They'll go for 2 as the offense is on the field. 2 wide receivers on the bottom, a flanker to the top, and a wide receiver to the top. They'll go for that shuttle again, and this time there's no going. Ball actually gets dropped. Josh Jones picks it up. Everything gets whistled dead, but that little shuttle pass doesn't work this time. But it doesn't really matter. Van Wert does score, and the first points are on the board tonight on the main stop scoreboard. Van Wert 6, the Golden Bears nothing. We'll take a 30-second timeout here on BryantSports.com.
Looking for career opportunities? They're closer than you think. Northwest State has more than 70 degree and certificate programs, so you can start on the path to a rewarding career or transfer your credits toward a bachelor's degree. Your future is knocking. What are you waiting for? Opportunities await at Northwest State Community College. Find out more at northweststate.edu.
Back here at Van Wert, Chris, Jim, the whole crew here tonight, Christopher. It's getting to be kind of a habit to come down here on the first Friday night of the season.
Yeah, every other year.
Any other scores out there of any interest that have hit the scoreboard yet?
Let me try to pick it up. By the way, all the scoreboards you can get are available on our website at BryantSports.com. So there you have it.
Lawson Blackmore will be the kickoff. Do the kickoff duties here for Van Wert. And the Bears will drop color deep on the visitors' side at the 15-yard line. And they will run Eli Tressler actually on the home side. Both of them back here now close to the 15-yard line. 10:08 to play. Plenty of time left here in this first half. Little squib kick that will be fielded by one of the up linemen right around the 42-yard line of the Golden Bears.
Alex Potvin.
I'll tell you what, Alex Potvin had one heading right for his head, put his hands up, and I'll tell you, if he was a shortstop for the Cleveland Indians right now, I think the Indians fans would be happy with what they just saw. Made a nice little play down the football. Bears have great field position at the 42-yard line. Best field position to start with here of the night for the Bears, I believe, Chris.
Here's what we got. Genoa leading Scott 45-6. Ottawa Hills over Swanton 13-0. And we'll give you some more. Fairview over Wauseon 14-0.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Bedford over DeSales 7-0.
Screen pass to Keller just took way too long to get going. And Keller will be dropped for about a 4-yard loss. Jacoby Kelly came up from his cornerback spot. And the one thing that you're going to notice tonight, Chris, these teams play an awful lot of guys on both sides of the football. Kelly, a running back on the offensive side, playing also a corner spot on the defensive side. 9:36, clock is moving.
Perrysburg over Clay 14-0. Let's see what else we got. Archbold and Hicksville is tied. Bowling Green over Rossford 14-7. Montpelier and Lake no score. And Otsego over Evergreen 14-0. Spencerville and Patrick Henry tied at 2.
Peters will roll to his left, look to throw the ball into double coverage, almost intercepted. Tried to force that one into Matt Harold and was thrown a little bit behind him. Gutierrez made the breakup. That'll set up a 3rd down and 14 now for the Golden Bears, who need a play or two here now. 9:11 to play here in the second quarter. Van Wert just grabbed a little bit of momentum with that last drive and their touchdown, and the Bears would like to answer this one, I believe. 3rd down and 14. No, this is going to be a tough one here for the Golden Bears. Again, that's normal I formation look. Jones is here on the home side. Color wide to the visitors' side. Farrell at fullback. Rittenhouse the halfback. Harold the tight end. Quarterback will roll to his left and try to hit Color, but well overthrown and out of bounds. And again, double coverage on Color. And Peters basically threw it over his head and out of bounds. Place on the coverage back there for Van Wert. That'll set up a 4th down and 14, and the Golden Bears will be forced to kick that ball away with 9:06 to play here in the first half.
Yeah, they definitely will be kicking at this point in time.
No chances here. Place will drop back deep. Place was the young man that caught the touchdown pass. after Evan Williams really was the workhorse to get him down close to the red zone. So Place will stand with his heels on his own 25-yard line. Josh Jones will be standing just inside his 25-yard line. Low bouncing kick. Jones picks it up, takes his time, then drives one, and Place immediately puts his hands in the air, takes about 2 steps forward, and will fair catch the ball at the 33-yard line of Van Wert. So we've just crossed over that 9-minute mark, 8:59 to play here in the second quarter, and Van Wert looking to keep that offensive momentum going here as they get the football back on their own 32-yard line. Actually, they're going to place him on the 31. The scoreboard says 32, but if you look down there, that ball's actually inside the 31-yard line, 1st and 10. Okay, interesting situation. And let's see, we've got the same quarterback in there, Blackmore, but this time he's moved 17 right next to him. Evan Williams is in at a halfback spot, and he turns and he hands the ball to Williams. And Williams, again, has a nice hole over the left side. He'll be across the 35, out to about the 37-yard line. He'll get 7 yards on that first down carry. Clayton Farrell will make that tackle. They'll give him 6, actually, so it's 2nd down and 4. Again, a single running back. This time it's Kelly in the backfield. Doubles to the top. Looked like Van Wert moved again. Doesn't matter. The handoff will be snuffed out in the backfield. And again, a nice job by that front Connor Ford, who shot the gap and was able to knock Kelly down in the backfield for a loss of about 4. And it'll set up a 3rd down now and 9 for the Cougars as the clock ticks down to 8:15 to count in the second quarter. Van Wert now spreads it all out. Single guy in the backfield, and that's 17, Evan Williams. He and the quarterback, Blackmore, he's to his right. Trips to the top, single guy to the bottom. Blackmore will roll towards the strength of the field, towards the right. Devontae Royster has some heat on him. Blackmore will get the ball away. He'll complete it, I think, for a short gain, or did they say the receiver was out of bounds over there?
The rate loss of Blackmore's pass intended for number 13.
Yep, it was incomplete over on the sideline, and that will set up a 4th down now and 9, and the Bears about ready to get the ball back. And again, I've been very impressed with the way that this defense has played tonight, Chris.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that Van Wert's really not switching things up. If they're going to go pass, they go pass, and then they do run. So it's not any mixing up. They've kind of intended what they want to do each drive.
Good rush, but the kick gets away, goes off the side of the foot again and bounces at the 40-yard line of the Golden Bears and then trickles into about the 37-yard line. And the Bears will have decent field position as they allow that ball just to die. Bears football on the 37. 7:41 to play here in the first half, and I think the Bears now would love to be able to put something on the scoreboard here before this half ends.
Absolutely.
Not any real long drives by the team, but both teams now seem like they're starting to get that offense to work a little bit better. And obviously, first night tonight, first time you're really doing it for real on a Friday night. It's a whole lot different than that scrimmage on a Thursday.
Yep, got to shake off those jitters and just get into it.
Arthur and Jones are the wide receivers. Again, Rittenhouse in the backfield. They'll pitch it to Rittenhouse. They'll sweep right side. He'll cut it up the middle of the field. He's got room. Cross the 40, cross the 45, down at about the 46. Give Rittenhouse about 7.
Tackle on the play by number 87, Drew Bagley.
Bagley will make the tackle for Van Wert. Clock will spin at 7:25 to play in the second. Main stop scoreboard, 6-0 Van Wert. Don't forget there's main stops on both the east and the west side of town now in Bryan, as they have the old Mike's Marathon location along with their traditional location over on Union Street. Bears again in that eye look. Jones to the bottom, Arthur to the top. Belt's back in the ball game at the fullback spot. Peters fakes the throw, then he'll try to run, sweep to the right left end. He'll break a tackle, scoot up the field to have the first down, step out of bounds in front of his own bench, out around the midfield stripe. Cavaluch was the young man who was trying to make the tackle up there, and about one more step, he might have had that opportunity. Peters was looking to throw the ball, then he decided to tuck it, saw he had enough room, gets the first down. Ball will be marked at the 49-yard line here of Van Wert. And that's when Drew Peters, for my money, Chris, gets to be the most dangerous. That young guy can make things happen with his feet.
He can. He's got a good backfield, and if he gets a little bit of protection from his backs, he can go out, and he can also tuck and run if the pass isn't there.
So Peters will go back under center. Belts will be the fullback. We've got movement in the interior line, and I believe, again, it's going to be, Van Wert jumping across. There was movement on both sides. It was just a matter of who made the first contact in the first move, and the officials say it's the home guys that move first. They'll mark that penalty off, put the ball down on the 44-yard line, and the Bears, just like that, have a 1st and 5. And maybe this is the drive they're looking for.
Last time it was a 1st and 5, though. It was not a good drive for the Bears, so they need to take advantage of these short-yardage situations.
Jones goes to the short side of the field. That's the visitor side on the top. Arthur's on the wide side right in front of us here on the home side. They'll hand the ball to Rittenhouse. He has some room off left tackle. He'll get a yard, maybe 2. So it was a positive play at least, and that is a plus. I'll give him 1, they say. Clock is ticking, 6:35 and counting here. That's all that's left in the first quarter. Van Wert scored the only touchdown here in the first half on a touchdown completion to Place. Bears have had the ball, and they showed some signs of being able to move the ball just like they are right now. Now they just have to find their way into that big old end zone at the end of the field. Peters will roll to his right, throw the ball down to the flat, and it's intercepted inside the 28. Ball thrown a little bit over the head of the receiver, Matt Harold, and Jacoby Carroll picked it up off the carpet. Man, I'll tell you, it
looked like it hit the ground.
But
man,
he was able to
Arthur was right there.
Right there watching him.
Man.
And the ball that was overthrown will result in an interception and a turnover. And that'll set the football down on the 29-yard line there at the Cougars football. Boy, tough situation right there. And again, that's what's going to be the difference, whether this team wins a couple of games this year or a few more. If they can get the passing game to work, and it's going to be zeroing in a little bit more on that the accuracy of that throw. Harold was open, ball was overthrown. Ball on the money, first down, you've got the ball about where it is right now.
And he's had a couple of too tall passes as well.
Again,
first night. Shake those off.
First night jitters. Welcome to Friday night. Drew Peters is the quarterback. But all in all, I think he's playing pretty well. Blackmore will drop, looking to throw this ball deep. He's got a guy down the field, and it's caught. 45-yard line of the Golden Bears, and they'll advance it to the 43. That one hung up in the air. Place was the young man that made the tackle. He's injured a little bit on the field and staying down there on the ground at this point in time. But that ball hung up just enough that Brady Shankster almost able to get back and make a play on the ball. What he actually did was put a good lick on Place, who made the catch, and then knocked him down hard to the grass, and Place kind of walking off gingerly to the sideline. Did make the catch, and with 6:03 to play here in this second quarter, I think we're going to get a timeout on the field. The Bears are all heading towards their sideline right now. Van Wert went to their sideline initially and then came back out into the middle of the field to play, and they're ready to play. I think maybe Brian thought they were calling a timeout, or maybe Brian just did call a timeout. I don't know. But we'll keep this one right here. 6:03 to play in the second quarter. Now they're bringing the water bottles out, so why don't we go for a quick timeout? 6:03 to play, second quarter. Bears trail 6-0 on the main stop scoreboard here on BryantSports.com.
Looking for career opportunities? They're closer than you think. Northwest State has more than 70 degree and certificate programs, so you can start on the path to a rewarding career or take your existing skills to a whole new level. Your future is knocking. What are you waiting for? Opportunities await at Northwest State Community College. Find out more at northweststate.edu.
Man, we're now ready to put this thing into play after some confusion as to whether they're going to take a timeout, who's going to take a timeout, we're going to take a break or what. Kelly on the handoff, and Kelly again runs into a whole bunch of congestion right in the middle of the field. Kelly with really no place to go, as Nye was the first guy in on the stop. And then I think you have to also credit a couple other guys, Connor Ford being one of them. That sophomore has been awful tough right down there in the trenches here tonight. And then I think you also give a little credit that time because they made a little change, and they've brought in a couple of new numbers, and we'll have to check and see exactly who that was next to him. 74, Travis Beck, the offensive lineman playing defense. Screen pass almost picked off by the Bears, but caught by Place. Place will pay for it, though. Josh Jones went for the takeaway as he tried to step in front of Place. Place was actually able to get to the spot just before Jones got there. Place able to pull it down, then Royster scooped him up with a couple of his buddies. They threw him to the ground. They'll give him 3. It's 3rd down and 7 now for the Cougars. The ball on the 40-yard line here of the Golden Bears.
Fairview 14, Wauseon 7 in the second quarter.
Bears jump off sides. Just when we're bragging about the young sophomore out there, he gets a little bit anxious, and Connor Ford jumps offside. So instead of 3rd down now and 7, it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Also, Patrick Henry up over Spencerville now 14-7.
So some games getting to be a little tight and very interesting is what we thought they would be too, Chris.
Yep.
Kelly again, the only back in the backfield with Blackburn. He's got triples to the top, single to the bottom. He'll turn and hand the ball to Kelly. Kelly has room left side on his feet. Around the corner, 20, 10, 15, 5. Kelly will take it 35 yards after breaking the tackle at the line of scrimmage and scampers his way into pay dirt. And just like that, Van Wert goes ahead 12-0 here over the Golden Bears. Bears had an opportunity right at the line of scrimmage. Kelly able to step out of a shoestring tackle right there at left guard. And once he got to the sideline, he picked up a block, found a lot of green grass, and then outran everybody to the end zone.
Yep. And they'll probably go, now maybe they won't go for 2.
They're going to kick one this time.
Although the kickers normally is not who it says it is. Kicker is Jordan Danielchuk.
Daniel what, Chuck?
Danielchuk, I don't know.
Danielchuk, we'll call him. And he's got it up, and it's good. So the Van Wert Cougars, who went for 2 the first time, Danielchuk makes the 1 the second time, and they now have a 13-0 lead with 4:35 to play here in the second quarter. We'll step away. You're listening to high school football here on BryantSports.com.
Okay, I have your order as 1 loaded chicken chunks tossed in hot sauce, Tex-Mex style, with a spinach artichoke dip and nacho chips, a 4-inch roast beef sub on white bread. Your total will be $20.24. We'll have that in 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Sub order.
Sub order.
Sub order.
Thank you.
Introducing loaded chicken chunks. Myros, more than just pizza.
They say there is strength in numbers. In Bryan, we have always taken pride in supporting our Golden Bear student athletes in all of their sporting endeavors. The Bryan Athletic Boosters now have a chance for you to get into the game. If you're Bryan proud, it's time to become Bryan strong. Whether you were a BHS athlete, are raising a BHS athlete, or just love supporting our Bryan High School athlete, this is your chance to be part of the BHS sporting community. Talk to any board member today on how easy it is to join, or contact us at 419-636-4536.
Everybody back in here tonight on the Bryan Golden Bear Sports Network here this evening. We're utilizing WQCT Radio, 1520 AM, which will soon be 96.5. The kickoff has an offsides to it, so we'll have to try it all over again. You can also get the ball game on the WQCT TuneIn app. You can get it up on their website at WQCT. You can also listen to the game right now on BryantSports.com. And obviously tomorrow night at 7 o'clock we will replay the game with full video and replays on Channel 3 on Bryan Cable. So we have a network this year, Christopher. We have an entire stable of ways for people to tune in and listen to us and then eventually watch us here this year. And hopefully Coach Redhead and his guys will really have a good season and people enjoy what we produce for them this year.
I definitely think Friday night, the website's the place to be, though, too, because of the updated out-of-town scoreboard.
No doubt, on the BryantSports.com website. Kick goes to Rittenhouse at the 40, and he'll advance it to the 45. And again, the Bears will have some great field position thanks to that offsides. And they have to stay away from that turnover. Boy, that last turnover turns into a touchdown for Van Wert on that last possession, Chris, and now they find themselves down 2 scores. And Van Wert will get the kick to open up the third quarter, so you would hope that this football team now will find a way to answer this score on this drive, and be able to make this maybe a 13-7 football game.
Interesting stat here, though. Not really a stat, but we've started, all the drives have been on like even line numbers. Like we've never started a drive on the 32. It's been on the 35 or whatever.
Peters starts off first by turning and handing to John Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse finds no hole. He'll get dropped for about a yard loss. It'll be 2nd down and 11, as Richner is the young man that makes the tackle there for the Van Wert Cougars. The clock will stop with 4:11, and then get started back up again, and will take its way towards that 4-minute mark.
Rittenhouse now with 26 yards on 8 attempts.
Not having a bad night so far, but we need something to break loose here right now.
Absolutely.
Color comes wide on our side. Jones wide to the top. Belts again back in at fullback. Peters again goes under the center. And we have a timeout, and Coach Redhead called that timeout. Whatever he saw, he did not like, and he wanted to go talk about it on the sideline. So the Bears will use, I believe, their final timeout of the first half, and we'll take it with them. Golden Bears trail on the main stops scoreboard, 13-0, here on the Brian Golden Bears Sports Network.
Hey, you in the old silver car. Looks like you could use a new ride.
What?
At Darryl Shirkey Ford Lincoln, we can upgrade you to a nice pre-owned vehicle or a new Ford or Lincoln.
How are you doing this?
We have a huge selection of vehicles, and with our aggressive pricing policy, we make them very affordable.
This is pretty aggressive. I don't think a billboard's ever tried to sell me a car before.
Come and see why we are the fastest growing dealership in Northwest Ohio. Hey, you in the white pickup.
At Krill Funeral Service, we are professionals with the sincere desire to reward every family who have placed their trust and confidence in us by being attentive to every detail, displaying the highest level of courtesy and compassion, and providing the greatest measure of respect for their wishes. As remembrance planners, our goal is to help families find joy in the way they choose to remember, honor, and celebrate the wonderful life of their loved one.
Bears have the football on 2nd down. Drew Peters drops and throws the ball behind Josh Jones on that little slant pattern. Again, if you start getting that ball in front of Josh Jones, he's got nice pickups right there, because Van Wert playing a bit of a soft zone in the middle. They'll allow him to have 3, 4, 5 yards, and if Jones can get loose, that could end up being a 23 or 24-yard catch and run after that. But instead, ball being behind him by 3 yards or so, and an incompletion stops the clock with 3:44 to play here in the first half. And it will set up a 3rd down and 11 now for the Golden Bears. Ball on the 44-yard line, their own. And you have to believe here, if they can't pick up the first down, they're going to have to kick this one away. Peters will roll to his left. He'll take off running. He's up the sideline. He'll get to midfield, be knocked out of bounds right about there. So he got about half of what he needed, and that will really set up an interesting decision now for Coach Redhead and his guys. He got 5 on the play, and he'll send the punt team out. I think that's the only thing you really can do. The ball sitting just on the Bryan side of the 50-yard line.
Number 27, Josh Jones, in to punt for the Golden Bears.
4th down and 6.
Number 10, Nate Place.
Place will drop deep. He's back at the 10-yard line, 15-yard line. Good to see him back up. He was hurt the last time we saw him. Jones will stand on his 34-yard line and wait the snap. Low snap, picks it up. Here comes the rush, but it's not severe. Ball gets kicked kind of off the left side of his foot. Will head towards the right side of the grass and roll out of bounds on the home side, down close to the 30-yard line. And that is where Van Wert will have the football with 3:28 to go here in the first half. 1st down and 10. And I got to tell you that if you're Coach Recker, what you'd like to do is punch one more in before the half and have the ball coming back your way to open up the 3rd quarter. And if you're the Bears, you'd love a turnover right now and maybe surprise them a little bit and go into the halftime with a much closer football game. The main stop scoreboard shows it 13-0 right now. Van Wert on top. And don't forget, there are main stops now on both the east side and the west side of town. Anytime you need something, the main stops are there for you. Here's that shuttle pass again. This time, Bears said, nope, we've seen that one way too many times. Blackmore shuttles that ball forward to Evan Williams, and Williams basically knocked down right at the line of scrimmage by Lucas Nye. 2nd down and 10 now. Clock will be at about 3 minutes when this next snap occurs. And again, it's Blackmore in the backfield with Evan Williams. Blackmore will look to throw to the right side. Little screen pass to Kelly. Kelly breaks the tackle, breaks another one, and then has somebody grab hold and say, nope, 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 you're not going that much farther than that. Kelly makes the first guy miss most of the time, Brandon Farrell then wrapped him up, but not before Kelly gets about 7, and it's 3rd down now and 3. Bears need to stop him right here with 2:35 and counting in the second quarter. Blackmore again in the backfield. He's got trips to the home side. Evan Williams is singles running back to his right in the backfield, and a single wide receiver out wide up on the visitor's side. Play clock running down. Snap gets off just in time. Hand the ball goes off to Williams, and Williams is just bulldozed under for a loss of about 1 yard.
Hit right away by number 75, Tyler Hartsock.
Hartsock, the first guy to wrap him up. The loss will be 1 yard. That sets up a 4th down and 4, and the Cougars, with just under 2 minutes to play in the first half, opt to send the punter on the field. Josh Jones will drop back to his 35-yard line. Well, in fact, it's Farrell now, 22, not 27, as Jones headed up to the short side of the field. And Farrell drops back deep. Whistle before anything starts. It looks like Van Wert wants to take a timeout. This time we'll keep it right here, Chris. Let's chat just a little bit about that website, because I think you've done a wonderful job up at BryantSports.com with your new scoreboard edition, buddy.
Yeah, we have a scoreboard on here powered by ScoreStream, and what that is a crowdsourced scorebook. So people can go at the games and update the scores, and then we get them here, and they're right on our website. So right now, I can tell you that Otsego's beating Evergreen 21-0. Patrick Henry and Spencerville still 14-7. Fairview and Wauseon still 14-7. Archbold and Hicksville are tied at 0. Delta's beating Toledo Christian 27-0, and Ottawa Hills is leading Swanton 13-0. And I don't have a score yet on Montpelier Lake. And Genoa beat Scott. They had an early game today at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
They won 52-12.
Yeah, I wondered when you had to score the first time, it was like 38-6 or something like that. And I'm like, holy mackerel, we've just kicked off here, and these guys already have 45 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and if you're watching the TV, you can see that right here I got on my iPad with the scores, and I can just kind of keep track of it. And then when I need to, I just cut back to my
Bagley with a kick that goes off the side of his foot and almost immediately out of bounds. It advanced up the sideline maybe 25 yards as they mark it off. Let's see. I'm trying to find the official and where he's got the ball right now. Looks like somewhere around the 47-yard line. So that's an 11-yard kick as that ball went off the side of the foot in a hurry. And I'll tell you what, if the Bears ever had an opportunity right now, short field, the only problem they have 1 timeout left in their arsenal. Ball on the 47-yard line of the Van Wert Cougars. 1st down and 10, Golden Bears. Let's see if they can make something happen. Peters again under center. Jones now wide on the home side here to the right. Peters will roll that way and look to throw the ball down the field. Throws it in the middle, gets tipped up in the air and almost picked off. Trying to throw the ball to Harold. Williams tipped it up in the air and nobody really knew where it was. There were a couple of red shirts out there that had an opportunity to pull that one in, Chris, if they could have found it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Starting to get a sprinkle of rain here tonight, as it's kind of an unusual cloud, a big dark cloud over Aaron Gilbert up there. He must have his Pittsburgh Steelers jersey underneath his Ohio State Buckeye jacket is what I'm thinking, because the rest of us are dry and it's sunny on us, but Aaron is just raining like the devil on that guy. That'll teach you to wear that jersey and not bring your rain gear. I formation again now. Peters goes under center. Drops the throw.
Oh,
he's got time now. He's going to run out of time. Now he'll roll to his right. Throw the ball across his body. Got wide open. Cole Arthur at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Woo! Golden Bears.
That was a great pass. Colt Arthur, he found him about the crossing route on the 15-yard line, and then Colt went to the house. Wow, that was nice.
Well, you know, we've criticized Drew Peters tonight a little bit for not putting the ball on the money every now and then. That time, he had some pressure. He was running to his right, and he threw the ball on the run, and Arthur had cleared out, as you said, down that right sideline, Chris, on that crossing route. When he caught the football, it was just nothing but him and green grass, turned up the field and into the end zone, and the Bears, just like that, make this a 13-6 ball game with the extra point coming. Josh Jones on to try the extra point. 1:14 to play here in the first half, and the Bears now make this game interesting before we head to halftime. Good snap. Arthur with the hold. And the kick perfect right through the middle. And I'm going to wait to see Josh Jones try to kick a field goal this year, because that young guy could hit a 45-yarder, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So with the extra point, the Bears cut the lead to 13-7 on the main stop scoreboard. We'll come back after this 30-second timeout to finish up the first half here on BryantSports.com.
Things are starting to settle down here at Ryan Ford Lincoln. After the fire, we had to rearrange everything. We brought in new offices for our staff. We reorganized our inventory to accommodate our new layout. Things are starting to feel a little more like home.
Morning, Chip.
Maybe a little too comfortable. Ryan Ford Lincoln, great deals, great people, great experiences.
Snow, rain, salt, grit and grime. Dirty shoes, spare change, food wrappers, and years of dust and dirt. These things have taken a toll on your family vehicle's exterior and interior. Admit it, if your family vehicle could talk, it would be begging to look like it did when you drove it off the lot. So treat your car to a custom detailing job inside and out at Whelan's Auto Repair in Bryan.
Not only do we service all makes and models, but we now offer professional detailing services too. Bring your car or truck in today and we'll send it home with a smile.
Back deep for the Cougars, number 11, Jacoby Kelly. Number 10, Nate Place.
And we're back here at Van Wert, and you take a look at the Golden Bear crowd on the other side. Kelly will be the deep man on the visitors' side, back at around the 10-yard line. Place will be the receiver back on the home side. Josh Jones to kick this ball off, and it doesn't look like he's going to drive this too deep. In fact, he will kick it short, up to the short man at the 27, out across the 30 to the 35, and all the way up to the 38-yard line. And that was number 5, Kobe Palmer, who was able to pull that down. Matt Harold with the tackle. And Van Wert will have the football one last time with 1 minute and 10 seconds to play here in this first half. They have 2 timeouts left. And I would expect Coach Retcher is going to maybe try to air this out just a little bit and try to put some more points on the board. What's he got to lose right now, Chris?
Absolutely.
They'll put everything in the spread, send trips up to the top. Kelly, the tough guy in the slot.
I'd like to see a pick 6 here, though.
Evan Williams in at running back on the left side. They'll throw the ball to Kelly. That ball looked like it touched the ground. He scooped it up off the grass, it looked like to me, and he's still running.
Wow.
Made a couple of Bears miss at the 45 and across the 47. So Kelly, boy, that one looked like he trapped it from where we stood. Officials right down there on the spot, so they had a much better viewpoint than I did. That'll be enough for a Cougar first down, and the clock will stop with 1 minute to play and be started up now as we track our way to 0-0 here in the first half.
11-yard pickup on first down.
Blackmore rolls, and he's going to gun this one deep. He's got a man, but he's going to overthrow him. Boy, I'll tell you, that was close. That was Place again as they went for the post pattern, and they were going for all of it.
Yep.
Blackmore basically just planted his foot on the 40-yard line and then threw that ball to the middle of the field as far and as long as he could throw it, and it bounced just away from Place in the center of the field down around the 5-yard line, incomplete.
There was some good coverage there from Brady Shankster on that play.
But if that ball was on the money, that was 6.
Yes, it was.
Clock stops with 45 ticks left to go in that first half. Trips down to the home side. Let's see if they'll do that again. Yep, they'll throw it to Kelly again in the flank, and Kelly will run towards the sideline. He'll get out of bounds inside Bryan territory, down around the 48-yard line. They'll say he got to the 47. So pick up a 7 yards there, makes it 3rd down and let's say we gave him 6, and 3rd down and 4. Ball on the Golden Bear 48-yard line. 3rd down, I'm saying 5, Chris. Look at where they got that thing stuck in the middle there, don't you?
I think they've corrected it now.
Yeah, they corrected on the scoreboard right now. 3rd down and 5. Need to get down to about the 43. Clock stopped at 40 seconds. High snap. Blackburn pulls it down, throws it to Kelly. Kelly makes one guy miss.
Lost his helmet.
And then
he has to
gets
come
knocked
out.
down at the 27-yard line. He was missing a helmet. So he'll have to come off the sideline for a minute. Jones makes the tackle. Kelly will go to the sideline. Will the Cougars burn a timeout or just allow their scat back to go to the sideline and rethink things for a minute? Clock will be stopped with 33 seconds left to go. Blackburn now with the single running back in the backfield, and he will shift him around.
It's a pickup of 20, Jim.
Throws it out into the flank. He's got his guy. Get back to the line of scrimmage and not too much farther.
That's James Aquaviva.
Was the young man that came in for Kelly, and they threw that little screen pass to him up on the visitor's side. Oliphant saw it coming, dropped him for no gain. It sets up a 2nd down and 10, but more importantly, the clock has slipped down to 19 seconds. The Cougars will use their next to last timeout and come to the sideline to talk a few things over and see if they can't make some things work. We'll keep it right here. Again, a big thank you tonight to all our sponsors, the Bryan Main Stops, Amerimaid Realty, Bryan Ford Lincoln, Krill Funeral Home and Crematory, Northwest State Community College, Bryan Athletic Boosters, Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, Andrews O'Neill and Lowe, and Darrow Shirkey Ford. If you weren't able to make it here tonight, we're happy to have you here on the Golden Bear Sports Network as we use the resources of radio on WQCT and all their streaming services and the old traditional standby, BryanSports.com and BMQ Channel 3 tomorrow night for the full video replay.
Looking for some scores for Hicksville, Archbold, and Montpelier Lake. If you have them, can you tweet us at BryanSportsCom, please?
Evan Williams now the only running back in the backfield. He has doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom, and he'll bring Kelly into the backfield. The ball hit Kelly right in the gut. I don't think that's what's intended.
No, he was coming across
in motion. He hit the back of the center at the same exact time the center snapped that football, hit him in the numbers, fell on the ground. They were lucky, basically, that Williams was right there to pounce on the ball because there were Golden Bears all around it. So he saves the turnover at that point in time. It also costs Van Wert their final timeout as they'll come to the sideline with a 3rd down now and 13 as they'll lose a couple yards.
Lose 2.
To talk a few things over here with 14 seconds left to go in this first half. It's been a good football game tonight from Eggers Stadium. Van Wert went up 13-0. But the Bears on their last possession hit the big money throw and catch and put their first touchdown on the board to make it a 13-7 contest right now with just 14 seconds left to go in this first half. And the Bears need to avoid any kind of score here out of Van Wert as the Cougars will have the football to open up quarter number 3. Blackburn will drop in that pistol look. He'll have Kelly to his right. Triples here on the home side, single on the double. He'll roll towards the home side and look to throw. Tossing the ball towards the end zone. Bears back, intercept. No, they just knocked it down at the goal line. Cutler was the guy that was there. He had the best opportunity to pull it down, but he wasn't able to pull it down at the goal line. Bears with some really nice defense back there as they had the only receiver in the end zone triple covered.
Yeah, and that was a nice job. Cutler, if he could have hung on to it, Bears would have had it out at the 20. Edgerton 21, Hilltop 6 at the half.
That brings us down to 6 seconds left. 1 play left to go in the first half. 4th down and 13. That doesn't mean a thing. This will be the final play of the first half of play here in the opening night of football.
At the half, Paulding 14, Wayne Trace 7. At the half, Fairview 21, Wauseon 7. And at the half, Swanton 23 over Ottawa Hills, nothing.
Blackmore drops back to pass. He had everybody wide open. Now he's running out of time. Devontae Royster hits him, and the Bears will knock the ball down at about the 10-yard line. Royster had a full head of steam, and Blackmore said, what was the number on that little truck that just hit me as I was trying to throw that football? So a good job by the Bears defense to keep Van Wert out of the end zone right before the half, and they'll go in at halftime trailing 13-7 here on the Main Stops scoreboard. We'll be back to give you a good idea of what happened in this first half, give you all the stats, update you with all the scores, and get you ready for the second half of football here on BryanSports.com right after this timeout.
Many area residents associate Tony's Car Care with the thoroughness of our detail work. Every inch has to be spotless. People say we have put the detail in detailing for almost 30 years. Now when the engine light comes on your dash, or you need an oil change, tires, or brakes, think of Tony's and understand we take the same pride in our repair work as we do in our detailing. Tony's Car Care, from window tinting to everyday car repair. I am Tony Signs, and you have my word that we will take care of you.
Every day, busy young executives travel the world in search of that next big deal. And when their plane lands, the first thing on their mind is a great place to stay. When it comes to Northwest Ohio, that's the Plaza Motel. They know the Plaza has the high-speed internet connection they need. all their favorite TV channels, and a great morning breakfast. Next time you touch down in Northwest Ohio, stop by and see why TripAdvisor travelers make the Plaza their place to recharge before they take off again.
You know, gathering with those we love, we get to catch up and we get to reflect on the past.
It seems like every time we get together, I always learn something new.
Here's the front page of the Columbus Dispatch when we won state baseball tournament, sliding into home plate.
Look at that, the front page. And that's a neat picture.
That was a great memory. I'll never forget that.
At Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, we understand that there are special memories that need to be remembered and shared.
Sometimes it can be a challenge to find something to say. Our next chart is by the group Chicago. It was on the album Chicago 2, which was released in June of 1970 and reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's about the process of writing a song. You won't find us waiting for the break of day, which, by the way, here in Van Wert was 7 a.m. this morning. Here is 25 or 624. The Bryan Marching Band's closer was identified in 1999 by BMI as the second most played song of the 20th century, falling second to You've Lost That Loving Feeling and landing just ahead of Yesterday by the Beatles. At that time, it was estimated to have been performed over 7 million times, which amounts to playing it 24/7, 365 for 40 years straight. First performed by the association in 1967, here is Never My Love. Fergus and Junior Field Commander Olivia Lee. The marching band would like to compliment the Van Wert Marching Band on their hospitality this evening. They thank everyone for their applause. Wish you a safe drive home, a great weekend. Go, good night, and go Bears!
Looking for career opportunities? They're closer than you think. Northwest State has more than 70 degree and certificate programs, so you can start on the path to a rewarding career. Or transfer your credits toward a bachelor's degree. Your future is knocking. What are you waiting for? Opportunities await at Northwest State Community College. Find out more at northweststate.edu.
Okay, I have your order as Tex-Mex style with a spinach artichoke dip and nacho chips, a 4-inch roast beef sub on white bread. Your total will be $20.24. We'll have that in 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Sub order.
Sub order.
Sub order.
Thank you.
Introducing loaded chicken chunks. Myros, more than just pizza.
They say there is strength in numbers. In Bryan, we have always taken pride in supporting our Golden Bear student athletes in all of their sporting endeavors. The Bryan Athletic Boosters now have a chance for you to get into the game. If you're Bryan proud, it's time to become Bryan strong. Whether you were a BHS athlete, are raising a BHS athlete, or just love supporting our Bryan High School athlete, this is your chance to be part of the BHS sporting community. Talk to any board member today on how easy it is to join, or contact us at 419-636-4536. At Jason Deach Collision and Customs in Edgerton, they can help you restore almost anything, whether it's a minor fender bender or something much more serious. Something as big as a semi or a trailer that you use to haul your toys. And speaking of toys, the Customs Division will help you customize almost anything, or help you restore that vehicle that you've been keeping under a tarp in the back of your garage. Take it from me, you'll not find a friendlier repair shop in Northwest Ohio. Jason Deach Collision and Customs, State Route 6, just east of Edgerton.
Welcome back here to Agers Stadium. Jim Funderburg, Chris Malenga, and it has been a very interesting first half of football, Chris. I think all in all, for a first night, pretty doggone good football.
Yeah, it actually has been. The Bears have come out looking pretty sharp. They're down 13-7 at the half, but you know, we had no score in the first quarter, and then all the points happened in the second quarter. And just a good game overall so far, and I'd like to see what the Bears do in the second half.
Bears have done a pretty decent job of moving the football. They've had some opportunities with some passes that if they'd have been a little bit to the left, to the right, would have been a game-changing moment at this point in time maybe. This ball game could have been tied. They could even be ahead at this point, but they're finding their way. Drew Peters doing a nice job, and I'll tell you what, the one big completion that he had was a dandy. What a nice throw he made.
Yeah, that was a 28-yard pass to Colt Arthur, and he caught Colt right about the 15-yard line, right in the middle of the field as he was streaking across the field, and he just turned it up, and there he went all the way to pay dirt. So you want to take a look at some stats here early on?
I think that's a good idea because I know you've got your new stat machine over there, so we're probably down to the skinny little centimeter, I'd bet.
Yeah,
huh?
We'll see how that works. Drew Peters is 6 of 17 for 81 yards. His average is 14 yards. His long was 47, 1 touchdown. Drew Peters rushing, he's 5 attempts for 18 yards. His long rush was 16. Rittenhouse, 8 attempts for 26 yards, and Belts, just 1 attempt for 3 yards. Belts being used mainly as a blocking back tonight for Rittenhouse. Receiving Color had 1 reception for -4 yards. Colt Arthur with 2 for 56 yards. That one was 28 yards. Actually, that one was 47 yards when all is said and done with a touchdown. Josh Jones has 2 receptions for 26 yards. Has a long of 17, and Bells has caught 1 ball for 3 yards. On the other side, Lawson Blackmore is 11 for 19 for 140 yards. He's averaging 13 yards a pass. His long is 31, and he has 1 touchdown pass. Rushing, he has 2 rushing attempts for -8 yards. Both were sacks. Jacoby Kelly, 7 attempts for 53 yards. He has a long of 34, and that is a touchdown run. Evan Williams, 2 carries for -3 yards. Receiving, James Aquiva had 1 reception for 0 yards. Nate Place, 3 receptions for 51 yards and a touchdown. Jacoby Kelly, 3 receptions for 36 yards. His long was 20. And Evan Williams has 4 receptions for 53 yards. Taking a look at the drive summary, Bryan started out its first drive They went 3 and out, only moved the ball 6 yards before punting. Then Van Wert got their first drive, and they did 3 plays, -1 yards for a punt. Then the Bears had a pretty good drive going. They started on their own 23-yard line. They went 33 yards in 9 plays, turning it over on downs. Van Wert's second drive, they had to punt. So after 2 drives, pretty much equally well, punt, turnover on downs, punt.
Yes.
The Bears then punted their next 2 times, where Van Wert had a touchdown and a punt on their next 2 drives. Brian finished up the next couple of drives were also not good drives. We had a 4-play, 20-yard drive that ended with a interception and then a punt. Van Wert, meanwhile, had a touchdown with a 4-play, 71-yard drive to make it 13-0. And then they punted, and then they were driving again on their last drive, and that's where the quarter ended. Taking a look at the scoring plays, let's see. All the scoring came in the second quarter of play. Blackmore to Place was a 19-yard touchdown pass from Lawson Blackmore to Nate Place. That made it 6-0. They tried that same little pass again to go for 2 and didn't get it. Then it was a 34-yard pickup from Jacoby Kelly. He went right up the middle and scored, and the point after was good. And that time it was Jordan Danielchuk who made the extra point. Then that was 13-0. Then the Bears got in on the action as Colt Arthur picked up a pass from Drew Peters. Again, Arthur picked it up about the 19-yard line. Peters threw a nice one in stride as Arthur was coming across the center of the field. Arthur took it down the right sideline, 47 yards, and the extra point by Josh Jones was good. And that is the scoring plays as they were. Brian has 6 first downs. Van Wert with 7 first downs. Brian's first downs, 4 were on passes, 2 were on rushes. Van Wert's first down, 6 on passing, 1 on rushing. Brian was 2 of 7 from third down efficiency. Van Wert 4 of 9. Neither team did anything on fourth down. They're both 0 for 1. Brian had 128 total yards, 81 of those in the air, and 47 on the ground. Van Wert 186 yards, 140 of those were in the air, 46 on the ground. And the teams were both penalized once. Brian was penalized 3 times for 15 yards, and Van Wert was penalized 1 time for 5 yards. I take that back. Brian was totally penalized 4 times for 20 yards. So was Van Wert 4 times for 20 yards.
Okay.
And Brian had 1 turnover. That was an interception. And punting, they're averaging about equally on punts, 28 to 29% on punts, or yards on punts. There you have it.
Jones doing a pretty good job of punting tonight. I'll tell you, the young man for the Cougars that I've been most impressed by here so far tonight has been Evan Williams. That little shuttle pass has been pretty effective. Jacoby Kelly looks like he's just 1 tackle away from breaking the big one all the time. So the Bears have done a decent job keeping him contained. They're going to have to continue to be focused here in the second half. And on the Bears side of the football, I'll tell you what, Devontae Royster has been a beast coming off that end here this evening. They're going to need a whole second half of that coming up as well if they're going to get back in this one and win this ball game. Colt Arthur has had a pretty decent ball game. Obviously, Arthur with the only catch tonight for a touchdown for the Bears. And also Clayton Farrell, who's played a little bit spelling Damon Belts at the fullback spot, I think has done a good job on both sides of the football. And Damon Belts, I can't say enough about that young guy. As a middle linebacker, he knows where to go to get some contact, and he loves to hit.
He does. Should we take a look at some other scores?
Please do.
All right, so it was Hicksville losing to Archbold right now 3-0. That's a low-scoring game. It's Fairview 21, Wasion 7. That game's in the third quarter. Holgate down by North Baltimore 20-0. Those are the battle of the Tigers right there. Perrysburg over Clay 27-17 at the half. Delta big over Toledo Christian 47-0. It is Rogers over Southview 13-10. Rossford over Bowling Green 19-14. The Otsego Knights at the half beating Evergreen, 21-0. Tenora is down 14-3 against Liberty Center. Patrick Henry 21-7 over Spencerville. It's Edgerton over Hilltop 21-6 at the half. Let's see, Ottawa Glandorf up 28-7. Paulding beating Wayne Trace 14-7. It is Middletown over Lima Senior 16-7. Wapak down to Bell Fountain, 14-10 at the half. Delphus St. John's over Bath, 14-7. It is Coldwater all over Kenton, 42-14. Bedford over St. Francis de Sales, 34-7. Swanton over Ottawa Hills, 23-0. The Ayersville Pilots, this says first quarter. I'm not sure if this is an accurate first quarter score, but they're up over Eden, 49-6. Genoa beat Scott early on, 52-12. And tomorrow there's one game of note. St. John's is playing Lake Catholic tomorrow at 7. And that's the scores as we have them right now. If you have scores that you want to share with us, you can tweet them to us at RyanSports.com. And it looks like that Archbold just went up on Hicksville 10-0 now as we were talking.
Amazing technology that we have nowadays. And I'll tell you what, speaking of technology, let's say a big thank you to Eric Herman, who's down in the production truck here tonight. Opening night, he's doing it all by himself, doing the best that he can. He also has probably a pizza and a couple Sammys down there and a cooler of pop, and he's down there not only enjoying the game but doing the game. And without Eric, we couldn't make all this happen around here as well. And you know, Aaron and Danny up here on our cameras today, they always do a wonderful job. We don't have the girls tonight, man. We'll bring those back.
We
maybe
don't have the girls
next week, but we got all guys on the road here tonight. Obviously, we brought Chet with us here tonight, Big Chet, Brian's #1 fan, and I'm sure he's enjoying himself over on the Brian side here this evening. We're a couple minutes away from the kickoff here of the third quarter. We're going to step away right now. On the Main Stop scoreboard, the Bears trail 13-7. Don't forget, there's Main Stop stores on both the east and west side now of Bryan. And when we come back, we'll get you ready for the kickoff of the third quarter here for Bryan Football on BryanSports.com.
As the baby boomer generation tires of traditional send-offs, funerals are becoming increasingly more personalized. People are pre-planning their own remembrance gathering. Pre-planning is easy and will pay off both emotionally and financially for you and your family. Plus allows you more control over your last hurrah. At Krill Funeral Service, we're not just funeral directors. We are experts at helping hearts
Things
heal.
are starting to settle down here at Bryan Ford Lincoln. After the fire, we had to rearrange everything. We brought in new offices for our staff. We reorganized our inventory to accommodate our new layout. Things are starting to feel a little more like home.
Morning, Chip.
Maybe a little too comfortable. Bryan Ford Lincoln, great deals, great people, great experiences.
Snow, rain, salt, grit and grime, dirty shoes, spare change, food wrappers, and years of dust and dirt. These things have taken a toll on your family vehicle's exterior and interior. Admit it, if your family vehicle could talk, it would be begging to look like it did when you drove it off the lot. So treat your car to a custom detailing job inside and out at Whelan's Auto Repair in Bryan.
Not only do we service all makes and models, but we now offer professional detailing services too. Bring your car or truck in today and we'll send it home with a smile.
Things are starting to settle down here at Bryan Ford Lincoln. After the fire, we had to rearrange everything. We brought in new offices for our staff. We reorganized our inventory to accommodate our new layout. Things are starting to feel a little more like home.
Morning, Chip.
Maybe a little too comfortable. Bryan Ford Lincoln, great deals, great people, great experiences.
Both teams back out on the field right now getting warmed up. This thing off, the Bears will be kicking to the Cougars to open up the third quarter here in Van Wert. Nighttime has fallen. We have darkness all around us, and we've even had a spit of rain here or there too, as some of those are not just darkness, it's dark clouds that have that moist stuff in it right now.
Yeah, we hopefully don't get any of that since we're sitting outside under in the bleachers with. If you get a chance, head to the Twitter page, BryanSports.com. Take a look at the pictures of our remote production truck here at Van Wert. It's pretty sweet. So I was able to retweet a couple of those pictures. Check that out and have some fun with us socially here at Van Wert.
Big shout out to any of the Golden Bear fans that are out there listening to us around the country tonight on any of the streaming services that we are using this evening. We normally have a great crowd with us from all over the place. Graduates, grandparents, parents, siblings, whatever, cousins, out very interested in seeing how the Bears are going to do this year number 2 of Coach Redhead. And I think so far so good for this football team here tonight.
We got a tweet from the former Columbus Bureau. Score update. He's in downtown St. Louis at the Cards A's game.
Oh,
it's
man.
scoreless. So he's moving up on the world. No more does he do high school football. He's checking out the MLB stuff.
Zach the Cat Hazlett. What's he doing in St. Louis?
I don't know, man.
Atlanta over there right now? Whistler pitched last night, and Whist had a really nice outing. Got the win, went 7, 8 innings, something like that.
Yeah.
Just had a wonderful start coming up from Gwinnett. And just a nice job for Matt Whistler last night. Good to see him coming back from the minor leagues and getting back into the swing of things in the big league ballparks.
Yep. We've had one score change since we started. Patrick Henry over Spencerville, now 27-7. That game's in the 3rd.
Interesting Patrick Henry team, obviously, this year to watch. Jones will kick this thing. Place will be on the home side deep at the 5. Kelly will be at the visitor's side on the top of the screen right now, again on the 5. Bears all bunched up here on the 40-yard line, getting ready to kick this ball, and I don't believe it's going to make it to that back line again. I would expect it's going to come a little shorter. As you got some guys up here closer, Kobe Palmer might again be the guy targeted. This time they'll go to Palmer again. I picked my poison, and Palmer catches it at the 30. He'll advance it out to about the 35, run into a whole bunch of nasty Bears. Be driven backwards a yard or 2, but I think forward progress will take him to the 35-yard line. Brandon Farrell's been all over the place tonight, too. You know, some new names for this ball team this year. Obviously, last year, a total nightmare for Coach Redhead. 0-10, trying to put in a new system, trying to transition from Kevin Klein and all the wonderful things that he did. This year number 2, this team looks a little better organized and ready to go after having a whole year together. Again, a single running back. That's Kelly in the backfield. Back to the wing. A man comes in motion. They'll hand the ball off to Kelly. He will be smothered in the backfield. He'll lose 5 all the way back to the 30-yard line. I believe the first guy in, Connor Ford. And Ford, I'll tell you, Chris, when you look at this is the neat thing about high school football. Again, we'll talk about Connor Ford, who's only 5'7" tall, 220 pounds, and that's about the 3rd tackle of the night that he's had for a loss. Somehow finds his way through that hole. 2nd down now at about 16. Blackburn wants to throw it. He's got a crossing pattern. He's got Place. Place has room. He's across the 40, out to the 45, almost midfield. But we have a flag back around the 34-yard line, and maybe there was a pick back there that was able to open Place up, but we're about to find out. Just a little slant. But the one thing that you noticed about this team is they are good at the rub, down at the line of scrimmage. They get guys in front of you. And let's just see how it was. It's an ineligible man downfield this time. So one of the Cougars got up the field a little bit too early. So a nice pickup by Place, which would have been enough for a 1st down, results in a penalty that sets up a 2nd down now, puts the ball on the 25-yard line, and it sets up a 2nd down, and they say 20. Is that right on the money? Okay. Again, a wide open backfield here for Van Wert. Blackmore will roll to his right. He's got Royster in his face. He throws it, picked off by the Bears. I think that might be Arthur again, but they're an awful long ways away from us. We'll have to just check the number out once they get off. I believe that's Oliphant. Mason Oliphant, 38, picked the ball up, and that ball was thrown right to him. And I'll tell you what, you got to give an assist to Devontae Royster, because Blackmore was racing towards the right sideline, and he had Devontae Royster chased him, about ready to knock him down. He got rid of the ball, threw it a little bit errant, and Oliphant with the first pickoff tonight for the Golden Bears. And the Bears now in business as they have the ball on the Van Wert 26, just into the 3rd quarter, trailing by 6 on the main stop scoreboard. 1st down and 10. Again, that eye look. Jones will be wide to the home side. They'll turn and hand the ball to Rittenhouse, and he has running room. Off left guard. He'll be forward across the 25, down to about the 23. Give him 3 yards on that pickup. Set up second down now and 7. So let's see if the Bears can cash this turnover in. The turnover in the first half resulted in a touchdown for Van Wert. Let's see if the Bears can give Van Wert a little of their own medicine. Damon Beltson at fullback. Rittenhouse will be the halfback. Peters turns, hands to Rittenhouse again. Rittenhouse again for a couple of yards off left guard. He'll advance it close to the 20-yard line, so give him 3. Cody Palmer with the tackle. 3rd down and 4 for the Bears. And you know, Coach Redhead, when we talked to him an awful lot, Chris, says that this is kind of how he likes to run his offense. Pound, 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 and then strike. Wear him down as the night goes on, and then all of a sudden, one of these running plays breaks off for 30 or 40 yards. Bears have it 3rd down and 4 on the Van Wert 20-yard line after the turnover, and they're trying to capitalize. And now they move on the interior of that line. I think it was Beck that moved early on the hard count, and that 5 yards will make it 3rd down and 9 instead of 3rd down and 4, and move the Bears back to the 25-yard line. Clock is stopped, 9:41 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Main stop scoreboard has the Bears down by 6, 13-7, but after the Oliphant interception, Bears hoping to maybe take the lead here for the first time tonight. And I'll tell you what, that might be the first time, if they could get a lead, the first time Grant Redhead would have a lead in his entire history after his 1 year on the job. Again, an I formation. Peters will roll to his right, looking to throw. Now he'll tuck it. Break away from one tackle, but he won't get away from the second one. It'll be dropped at the 25-yard line. Back to the line of scrimmage, but not anymore. And Williams there on the tackle, the young man that has run that little shuttle pass so well in the first half, also plays both ways, plays linebacker, and the Bears now will have a 4th down and 9 with the ball at the 25-yard line. Instead, they will leave the offense on the field, and they'll come out with their normal set with the I. Single wide receiver, top and bottom. 4th down, Bears need 9, 8:33 and counting here, 3rd quarter. Peters drops, he'll have some time, throws the ball in and out, he's got his guy. That should be a 1st down as the completion is made. Nice job by the Bears to get the ball to Colt Arthur, and Arthur now has become the #1 receiver for the Golden Bears this year, as Arthur ran it just a little out, and Peters put it right on the money, right on time for just enough yardage. It'll be 1st down and 10 with the ball on the 15-yard line of the Van Wert Cougars.
This would be big right here.
Clock rolls with 8:12 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Can the Bears take a lead? Pitch, Rittenhouse, sweep, right side, cuts it back inside. He's got room, he's the 10. I think he's inside the 10, close to maybe the 9 where they're going to mark him. In fact, they'll move it right at the 10 and leave it right there. So the run nets them about 5. It sets up a 2nd and 5 now. The Bears can get that 1st down around the 5-yard line. Obviously, a touchdown here becomes big. Arthur goes wide to the top, Jones wide to the bottom. I formation with Peters under center. Drew takes it, hands off. Rittenhouse opening inside the 5, down to the 4. That'll be enough for the 1st down. The Bears will have 1st and goal at about the Van Wert 4-yard line. Nice job by the right side of that offensive line.
Down
to
to the 3, pick up a 7, Jim. They say 1st and goal from the 3.
I'm going to give a nice pat on the back to Travis Beck and Tanner Sanchez down there on that right side.
Opening holes.
Matt Harrell, they've been opening up a nice little gap in there for Rittenhouse to run through, and you're right, Chris. It's 1st and goal from the 3.
And Van Wert wants a timeout.
Van Wert needs to talk it over. We'll take a step away. Bears knocking on the door for the 1st lead of the night on their favor. Main Stop scoreboard has them trailing 13-7 here on BryantSports.com.
Many area residents associate Tony's Car Care with the thoroughness of our detail work. Every inch has to be spotless. People say we have put the detail in detailing for almost 30 years. Now when the engine light comes on your dash, or you need an oil change, tires, or brakes, think of Tony's and understand we take the same pride in our repair work as we do in our detailing. Tony's Car Care, from window tinting to everyday car repair.
I am Tony Signs, and you have my word that we will take care of you.
Tim and Chris on a Friday night. Guys, it is time for football, and right now is the time for the Bears to take their first ever lead under Grant Redhead. If they can knock this one in, Chris, and go up 14-13.
Is it possible? Is that really true?
I think
never
so.
had a lead?
I don't think if you look back, how many points did we score last year? I
Not
don't
a
think
lot.
we ever led last year. We'll have to look that up. Yeah. Bears kind of bunch this one in now. One single receiver to the top. They go with three running backs in the backfield. Peters under center. He'll turn Rittenhouse right side, close to the goal line. Wait for the signal. I think he's going to be short.
Number 32, John Rittenhouse on the carry.
But he will be very close.
Number 12, Nick Gutierrez.
Gutierrez on the stop, but he stopped him just outside the goal line. They mark it at the 1 on the scoreboard, but I think the nose of the ball is just inside of the 1. And again, the Bears go with that power look as they have three running backs in the football game again. Farrell and Belts both in a dual fullback position, and then that eye back in Rittenhouse, and they'll turn to Belts, and Belts will muscle right guard, keeps moving. Is he in? There's a pile. We're waiting. Yep. It's a touchdown. Damon Belts ran into a mass of bodies, and the legs just kept turning from the back. You could see him driving, and you were waiting for the pile to move just a couple of inches, and the next thing you know, he finally moved the mass into the end zone. The official put his hands in the air, and just like that, the Bears have tied this up 13-all. And again, we'll have to do some checking, Chris, but if the extra point is good, I do believe this is the first lead for Grant Redhead in his 11 games now with the Golden Bears. But again, last year was just such a tough year for everybody. Josh Jones setting up for the extra point. Good snap, good spot, ball's up, it's good, Bears up. 14-13 on the main stop scoreboard. And just like that, the turnover leads to 6 for the Golden Bears with 6:36 to play here in this third period. And I'll tell you what, the Bears fans much happier tonight than they were last year. Remember, the game last year to open everything up was a 42-14 throttling by this Van Wert Cougar team. But again, remember, the Cougars lost 25 seniors to graduation last year. 5 of those young guys are playing football now on a next level in D3 football or NAIA football around the Midwest.
Absolutely.
So there was some talent on that team. There's some talent on this team. This is a team that expects to win more than they lose this year. So the Bears with a pretty good performance here early on in this opening football game tonight. 6:36 to play in the third quarter. Golden Bears, after the Oliphant interception, turned it into a touchdown drive that was, what, Chris, about 30 yards or so?
Yeah, let's see the drive summary. That was 8 plays, 26 yards.
There you go. With a 1/2 yard drive into the end zone by Damon Bells through about 1,400 pounds of flesh.
Yeah.
That's about the only way. I mean, he moved the pile, man. Place goes back deep on the home side. Kelly goes back deep on the visitor side. Again, look for the Bears to kick it to a short guy. They have changed people on this right side. They put Gutierrez here now on the 28-yard line, and the Bears will kick it over Gutierrez's head. They'll force Place to go towards it, and he'll let it roll out of bounds down around the 10-yard line. So Van Wert will have the football with pretty decent field position, but again,
I think
the alternatives.
No, where do they get it?
I'd kick it down there every time, Chris, because I do believe Place has shown he is very difficult to pull down in the open field. And Kelly, he's just one tackle away from going to the house, man. That's
Absolutely.
just the way that he plays. So the ball will come back out. It'll be placed at the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Van Wert.
And the kick goes out of bounds. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. They'll bring it 1st down and 10 for the Cougars.
First series of the second half of the Cougars ended up at a quick interception by Mason Oliphant. after the Bears were able to put extreme pressure on the quarterback, Lawson Blackmore. Blackmore, a sophomore who won the starting job in practice. He's got a single running back in the backfield and 4 wideouts. He'll look to throw that little flanker screen up on the top. That's a lateral. Kelly's trying to get on it. He will, but there's Bears all around him, and they're going to lose about 5, maybe 10 yards. And a good job by Kelly, a heads-up play to go after that ball. It was that little flanker screen. Kelly had taken a half a dozen steps off the line of scrimmage. They threw it behind him, and in fact, they lost that thing. Lost that ball all the way back from the 35-yard line back to the 22-yard line. So that's about a 13-yard loss. It'll be second down now and 23. Again, single running back in the backfield, 3 wideouts here to the visitor's side. They'll turn and hand the ball to Kelly. Kelly breaks the tackle, won't get much farther than that. He'll get out to the 25-yard line. In fact, it's Aquavita that was carrying that football. They are on the opposite end of the field from us. We're sitting on the 25-yard line on the Van Wert end, and Van Wert at this point in time at the 25-yard line on the Bryant end. On the Van Wert end, we're on the Bryant end. I'm sorry, I got him backwards. First night jitters for the guy doing the ball game tonight. Aquavita will be the only running back again. He'll be to the left of the quarterback. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom. Blackmore throws the little screen to Kelly. Kelly gets caught in the wash, and he'll get a couple, but not much more. Bears all over him. Give Kelly forward progress of 2 to the 27. Turn the down marker over to number 4 and make it 4th down and 20 to go for the Van Wert Cougars, as they'll send the punt team out on the field, and Josh Jones will drop back at the 38-yard line there of the Golden Bears. Farrell is short, Brandon Farrell. Decent kick, again heading towards the Bryant sideline, and this time it takes a Van Wert bounce before it kicks out of bounds. Ball will be down to about the 38-yard line where Josh Jones was, but the ball kicked and angled towards that Bryant sideline the entire way, so really no opportunity to return. It hit on about the 40, took a Van Wert skip, and then kicked out of bounds, and the Bears will have the football at the Van Wert 38-yard line. 4:35 to play third quarter, and I would have to believe right now, Chris, that the Bears have a little confidence going on inside those helmets at this point.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can get some extra scores here. Let's see. Patrick Henry up 27-7 over Spencerville. And Patrick, no, it's 34-7 now, excuse me.
Peters hands off to Rittenhouse, and he's got a wide open space in the middle of the field. He'll be ahead for 10, give him 11, make it 12, first down and 10. Ball goes close to the midfield stripe. And we have a Cougar on the ground right now, an official timeout, so that they can take care of a young man who made the tackle down there.
Holgate is losing 26-6. Right now, there was a, let me find one. Tenora's leading, or losing to Liberty Center 14-10. Archbold up 17-6 now. And Evergreen ran back an Otsego kickoff just in the third quarter to make it 35-6. So now Evergreen losing 35-6. And trying to see if there's anything else. Pandora Gilboa leading Columbus Grove 15-8 at the half. Montpelier is losing to Lake. We finally got that Montpelier score.
There you go.
20-14.
Can't tell who the player is, but it looks like a cramp down around the midfield stripe right now for one of the Van Wert Cougars. It doesn't look to be anything serious, and that's good news. We always like to see guys be able to pop up and get ready to play some more. Big thank you tonight for the folks that are bringing you the ball game this evening. The Bryan Main Stops, AmeriMade Realty, Bryan Ford Lincoln, Krill Funeral Home and Crematory, Northwest State Community College, Bryan Athletic Boosters, Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, Andrews O'Neill and Lowe, and Darrow Shirkey Ford. If you just tuned in, whether you're listening to us on BryanSports.com, on WQCT AM 1520, on any of the streaming services that QCT has, which is up on their website, or in the TuneIn app, or if you just magically are in tune to Chris Malinga and the magical network that his aura puts out for miles and miles and miles, we welcome you back in, and it's been a fun Friday night, Chris. A lot better than anything we saw last year, that's for darn sure.
Absolutely true, and the Bears have done a good job. keeping things up here and keeping that momentum, getting the ball, forcing a punt right after that drive.
Yes.
So getting that punt and now having the ball in good field position at the 48.
Evan Williams is the young man that was injured, and it looks like maybe it's not just a hamstring. He's limping pretty good on an ankle. He's the gentleman that made the tackle, and he got the worst of the brunt of that impact as the Bears now have the football on their own 48-yard line
And
after the first down.
Williams has 4 receptions for 53 yards, so he's not one, especially those shovel passes.
He's been a really solid ball player tonight, no doubt about it. Again, the I formation. Again, it's Rittenhouse. This time not as much room, but he keeps the legs moving, and he's into Van Wert territory. And what looked like maybe a gain of a yard turns into about 4, almost 5. I'm going to say he got 6.
All the way up to the 46. I'm not going to say he got the, well, I guess he did get the 46. That's a long.
I'll give him 5 on that run. How's that? Let's make it second down and 5. We're under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, and the Bears now trying to dominate the interior of that line. Color wide to the home side. I formation in the backfield. Peters turns, hands off this time to Farrell, and Farrell's going to be close to a first down as he lunges ahead inside the 45. He'll be close to the 43. Set up a third down and 1. Give Clayton Farrell 4. Bears doing a good job now of wearing down the Van Wert Cougars. Just exactly what the coach said. You know, all the off-season workouts, all the conditioning, all the weightlifting, all comes down to moments like this. 3:14 to play third quarter. Then you've got 12 more minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Rittenhouse will have the first down as he works his way through a nice little hole and scampers down to the 36-yard line. Stutter step, reading the blocks, taking his time. You're starting to see a little patience, a little teamwork between this team nowadays. Not just running in before that hole's open, waiting for his blockers to get that chip, get that block. Stutter steps a little, then squirts through that hole. First down and 10 Bears with 3 to play here in the third.
Big pickup of 6 there for Rittenhouse. So Rittenhouse right now, 67 yards on 16 carries.
Arthur goes to the top, but they'll hand off again to Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse will try the right corner. This time a little shorter pickup as he gets only about a yard.
He got upended there.
Yeah. Aquaviva comes in and takes the pins out from underneath of him after only a pickup of 1 as he tried to sweep right in.
That's how you got to stop Rittenhouse, is to do that, because otherwise he's going to keep those legs churning and make stuff happen.
Second down and 9 for the Bears. They're in Van Wert Cougar territory at the 36. They're ahead on the main stop scoreboard, 14-13 with 2:13 to play in the third quarter. Peters turns, fakes the handoff. Now he's going to roll to his right, and he's going to wish he'd handed the ball off as he's wrapped up and sacked back at the 47-yard line by Brooks Usher for the Van Wert Cougars. And what was going to be a third down and 9 ends up to be now third down and closer to 20.
Yeah, he had a sack for 11-yard loss there, Jim.
One of the few sacks of the night, and again, it came straight up the middle that time. Somehow, the linebacker got free.
Well, he was dropping back to pass, so when you do that, you know, you're going to open yourself up.
Bears now have the ball in the 46 of Van Wert. Again, that I formation. Color wide on the home side. They look to throw to him. Now he looks the other way. Now Peters almost breaks out of a tackle, but will be sacked for the second time by the same guy. And this ball now back into Brian Goldenberry territory at the 44-yard line. And Usler makes the tackle for another big loss, and 2 in a row. Takes the Bears out of scoring position and is going to cause Josh Jones to come back in and kick this football away.
Consecutive plays with big losses, a total of 20 yards on the last 2 plays. And, you know, you were driving, and then you try to pass, and it all breaks up.
Yeah. Well, you try to obviously throw a couple passes into your playbook. Place goes back deep. He's going to field this one. He's going to get thumped.
Oh,
and
man.
He does. You saw that one coming. That was Rittenhouse coming down the field with a full head of steam, waiting for Place to put his arm up in the air. Never did, and Rittenhouse never broke stride, wrapped him up and dropped him at the 21, 22, they're going to say 23-yard line. He actually drove him back to close to the 20, but the collision was made at the 24, and that's where the Cougars will have the football with just 34 seconds left to go in this third quarter.
Who was that caught that?
That was Place. He's fearless, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And Rittenhouse came loose, and he was on a dead run, and he kind of slowed down and stutter stepped just a little to see if that hand was going up late. When he didn't put it up, he put the throttle to the floor and just ran him over.
32-yard punt.
Kelly again in the backfield, the only running back. They'll fake the ball. No, they'll hand the ball to Kelly. And Kelly will try the right side for a very short gain if he got anything. The ball's out in the Bears' hands. It's actually Jones with the football, but they're going to say Kelly was on the ground. Clock will stop with 20 seconds, and now it will restart with 17, and that could have very easily been the last play of the third quarter, and it's going to be because Blackmore is coming to the sideline right now. So that'll do it for 3 quarters here from Van Wert as the clock ticks its way down to 000 here at Eggers Stadium. Bears have found themselves in the lead on the main stop scoreboard here at the end of 3 quarters, 14-13 here on BryantSports.com.
Every day, busy young executives travel the world in search of that next big deal. And when their plane lands, the first thing on their mind is a great place to stay. When it comes to Northwest Ohio, that's the Plaza Motel. They know the Plaza has the high-speed internet connection they need, all their favorite TV channels, and a great morning breakfast. Next time you touch down in Northwest Ohio, stop by and see why TripAdvisor travelers make the Plaza their place to recharge before they take off again.
Snow, rain, salt, grit, and...
Many area residents associate Tony's Car Care with the thoroughness of our detail work. Every inch has to be spotless. People say we have put the detail in detailing for almost 30 years. Now when the engine light comes on your dash, or you need an oil change, tires, or brakes, think of Tony's and understand we take the same pride in our repair work as we do in our detailing. Tony's Car Care, from window tinting to everyday car repair.
I am Tony Signs, and you have my word that we will take care of you.
Well, there's 12 minutes of good, hard football left between the Golden Bears and maybe the very first win in the history of Grant Redhead. That's what his team's focused on right now. Obviously, you go to the other side, and Keith Recker would not like to get his opener spoiled tonight from a Golden Bears team that he was expecting to win against, I think, this evening. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Van Wert has the football on their own 24-yard line. Single back in the backfield, that's Kelly. 3 wide receivers on the home side, a single guy to the top. Blackmore looks to throw across the middle. Picked off. It's Josh Jones. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Woo! Josh Jones with a great set of hands. Saw the ball coming, picked it off in the run, headed up the left sideline. It was in for the touchdown before any red shirts could get to him. There you go. That's a way to start the fourth quarter. And the Golden Bear faithful on the other side are jumping up and down like the good old days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you know, we've seen a couple of Jones kids play for this football team, and they normally have an impact on a Friday night. Josh is no exception to that one, as he's on the field now to try the extra point. Golden Bears up on the main stop scoreboard 20-13, with the extra point try about ready to happen. And if this one's good, the Bears will be up by 8. Good snap, good placement. Jones has it through. And just like that, the Bears open up the fourth quarter with a pick 6. And the Bears go on top 21-13 with 11:52 to play in the football game. We'll just keep it right here. I'll tell you what, Chris, that was maybe the play of the night. I don't think Blackmore saw Jones. He threw a lazy little pass across the middle like he's thrown all night long. You know, this is somewhat of the West Coast style of the spread. They don't go very deep most of the time. Everybody goes out 5-6 yards. They either cut in, they cut out, or they stop and curl. That time he was trying to hit the curl man in the middle. Josh saw it all the way, stepped in front of the throw, and he was about 25 yards from the end zone, and there was nobody else anticipating that catch. And by the time Jones secured the football and everybody realized a guy in a white shirt had it, he was 15 yards up the field and heading for the end zone.
Absolutely.
So the Bears on the sideline talking to the coach. They're going to be back out to kick this football again. And
That's
now
impressive.
Now we have 11 minutes and 52 seconds of hard-nosed football we got to play before this one's over tonight. But instead of a 1-point lead, the cushion is now 8.
Yeah, I'd rather be up by 8 than 1.
I wouldn't mind seeing it stretch to 15 or 21.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree with you. Kelly will be deep here right in front of us on the home side.
We just got a tweet from Jake Jones, Josh's brother.
There you go.
He says, pick 6 Beeve, let's go.
Fantastic. Kelly again, the deep guy here on the home side. He's at about the 8-yard line. And up on the top, a good thing to see, Nate Place.
Absolutely.
He's at the 10 over on the visitor's side, and a good to see Place back in on the field. I think mostly they were treating him for somewhat of a cramp, and I think maybe he turned an ankle just a little bit. This is a squib kick that will be fielded at the 25-yard line. Advanced out across the 30 to the 35 to the 36. And again, Kobe Palmer has become the designated target for this kickoff here tonight, as he's returned 3 out of the last 4 for the Van Wert Cougars.
He got up to the 35, right?
I think they're going to actually mark him right on the 35. In fact, Chris, you're right.
Ball spot at the 35-yard line, first down and 10 for the Cougars.
Couple of spits of rain happening. I don't like that so much sitting out here.
We're just going to have to deal with it. You know, it's Herman's gear. We don't care about that. I'm waterproof. You
wow.
know what I mean? The key with that one is to get guys like Aaron to throw themselves over the cameras. You know what I mean? To keep them dry. Again, a single running back. I think that's Alavetta in the backfield. Blackmore will throw this one just for a confidence builder. He hits a quick out across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Bryce Cousin was the young man that made the catch. And again, a very, very safe throw in front of Shankster. Picks up about 7 yards. But that one, you got to believe, was just for confidence right there, Chris, because there was a one-on-one coverage. It was a real quick out and a real quick throw. Triples go to the top now.
Blackmore now 14 to 24.
He throws that little screen pass to Kelly. Here comes the Bears. They've got him wrapped. He'll get a yard, no more. Kelly advances it up the field for about 1. It'll set up a 3rd down now and 2. And boy, you can see why they try to get that ball out to Kelly in the flat. Brandon Farrell came up and made a nice sure tackle around the ankles. And then he had help coming in as the Bears swarmed to the football tonight. And Josh Jones would be really proud of the way this defense has been playing tonight, because they're hitting kind of like Josh used to hit.
Absolutely.
Handoff goes to the tailback.
He may have the first down. He may not, though.
He's close.
Wow, where the official is, I don't think he got it. Who was that on the carry?
You know, is that Olivet, Aquaviva?
Aquaviva. I don't think he got it.
Short.
Wow.
Hartsock was the first guy hit him. Lucas Nye came in and put the finisher on him. I think if it was only Hartsock, he gets the first down, Chris. You're right, but Nye came up and just stuck him.
I tell you what, I watched a fake here just to get him sparked. You know what I mean?
Low snap, fielded. Wobbly kick will go away from Josh Jones and bounce to his left and head towards the sideline and roll out of bounds deep inside of Golden Bear territory. I think they're down inside the 10, I believe. Probably the best kick of the night for Van Wert, especially the way it was placed.
Absolutely.
Josh had
You want to get it away from Josh.
Yeah.
Don't let him return it. Get it out of the way. And they were down there fast to cover it just in case it did.
First down and 10, ball on the 10 for the Golden Bears. They've got 90 yards to go, 10:21 to play here in this football game.
Take a 90-yard, 10-minute drive.
That would be a nice way to end this one tonight, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Huh? I agree. A receiver to the top, a receiver to the bottom. Back in the eye from the 10. Peters under center. You got to believe they're going to start running this football again. Turn, pitch, sweep, Ridenauer around the right end. He's got room. Breaks a tackle. He's got a first down. He's across the 20-yard line. Rittenhouse with the first down.
Tackled by number 34, Butch
Usler on the tackle for Van Wert, but Rittenhouse gets around the corner on the sweep.
Picks up 11.
Gets a block, picks up the first down, gets us out of the shadow of the goal line. And about, 8 more of those, Chris, and you've got exactly what you want, only won't take quite that long. How's that? Arthur on the short side of the field on the visitor side. Color on the wide side. I formation. Dive play. I think that was Belts, and Belts might get a yard on that one.
First hit on the play, but number 54, Jordan Daniel check.
Going to give that to about 3 guys in the middle of that.
It was a short one, too.
Defensive line. They say Daniel checked the first guy that hit him. From where we are, it's kind of tough to catch all the numbers because it piled up fast. Clock ticking at 9:27 and counting here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, not the first quarter.
As we shake off the rust here on a Friday night. Sure, I'm happy to have you with us out there. Delay handoff again to Rittenhouse, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard. That'll set up 3rd down and 8. And it's good to see Evan Williams back on the football field as well, as Williams kind of hobbled his way to the sideline. Clock goes under 9 minutes right now. Bears 3rd down and 8, sitting down on their 23-yard line. See if Drew Peters will put this one up. Goes under center again. That eye look. Jones on the home side. They look the other way. Now they're coming back to the screen pass. And oh, Rittenhouse had it set up. Peters had an awful lot of heat. And the ball went over Rittenhouse's head and went incomplete. But boy, if that ball could have somehow gotten to his hands, that would have been a close one for a first down. Instead, sets up a 4th down and 8. And Josh Jones will have to kick this one away deep in his own territory.
That's okay.
Nate Place drops back on the Van Wert side of the 50 at the 45. Jones sets up inside the 10. High snap over his head into the end zone. And he's not going to get on it, and Van Wert will.
That's not good.
So a muff snap that was high, and it's starting to spit a little bit of rain. Josh Jones, who was the hero with the pick 6 a few minutes ago, now becomes the GOAT as the ball goes between his hands. And he's not able to get on the football for the touchdown, for the safety, and the touchdown was scored then by Van Wert. I didn't catch the number of the player that got
caught it. I don't know.
Well, that sets up a very interesting situation now for the Van Wert Cougars. They're down 2.
I'm giving it to Jacoby Kelly.
21-19.
Wow, just like that.
Boy, that ball was just a little bit high, and as we said, it's just spitting a little bit of rain right now. Whether that had an effect or not with that football, went through Josh's hands, ended up around the goal line. They both kind of reached for it, bounced it into the end zone, and then the Van Wert player was the first guy to the ground, and he fell on the football for the touchdown. Blackmore comes out. He spread everybody out, got one guy in the backfield, will hand it off to his fullback, and the Bears will stuff him. So the Bears with a turnover on the muff punt for the touchdown. We'll see their leads cut back down to 21-19 on the main stop scoreboard. But a good job on that 2-point conversion keeps the lead in the pockets of the Golden Bears as we're down under 8.5 minutes to play here in the football game. Well, this is a situation that these guys have not been in, Chris. You had a lead. You got a lot of time on the scoreboard. You got to maintain the lead, hold the lead, stretch the lead if you can. Unfortunately for the muff putt and the turnover in the end zone, now the Bears have to refocus and see what's down inside them here and see if they can't turn this thing back around.
Now they need to have a good drive.
Again, just a little bit of rain spitting out of here. You really don't even want to call it rain. You just feel a drop here and a drop there. A light breeze blowing right in the Bears' face right now. But again, just a very light breeze, maybe 5 miles an hour. I'm sure the grass probably is a little more wet than the players and the fans in the stands because it's just been a very light rain that probably has accumulated on that grass and may have accumulated on that ball just a little bit. Farrell and Color back deep for the Bears. Devontae Royster and Rittenauer are the up guys around the 30-yard line. The deep guys back around the 20, not expecting a deep kick and even expecting maybe an onside. It will be a line drive to Devontae, and Devontae has the ball heading towards the right side looking for a blocker. Coming up the sideline, he's at the 30, at the 35-yard line, and Royster gives the Bears some decent field position to open up this drive. Well, the last possession really didn't look very good when we started, Chris. The ball on the 10-yard line after that Van Wert kick out of bounds, and then had the first down right away, but then not able to get the drive in gear. The muff punt gives the score back to Van Wert. Now it's time to take over the football game.
And now you got to take some time. And got to get some first downs. Got to chew up the clock.
Farrell back in at fullback right now. Harold on the right side as the tight end. Pitch goes to Rittenauer. He makes a couple guys miss, still on his feet at the 40, across to the 42. Rittenhouse gets 6.
First hit on the play by number 34, Butch Utzler. Gain of 5, second down and 5 for the Golden Bears.
They'll mark him at the 41. I give him 6 on that one rather than 5.
Too. That's what I'm giving him.
You look
6.
where that second down marker is over there. He's got maybe a long 4, but it's definitely not 5. It's not in the middle over there.
Yep.
Clock is ticking. 7:44 and counting right now. I formation again for the Golden Bears. Farrell in the fullback spot. Rittenhouse, the tailback, and he has the ball. Right side. He's got enough for the first down. He's still moving.
Wow.
Pyle just kept going at the 50. We kept waiting for him to spot the ball. The line kept pushing. Rittenhouse kept moving, and somehow he ends up close to the midfield
He's
stripe.
on the 50. Pickup of 9.
And maybe exactly what Coach Redhead has talked about, wearing this team down, running and pounding and pushing and shoving all night long, will come to fruition here in this drive.
You know, the Van Wert doesn't have a play clock, so it's not, you can't be running that down like you can at Bryan because you can see the time.
Exactly.
But I'd be using every available second at this point.
Fake to Rittenhouse. Peter will roll to his right. He throws. He's got Farrell for a short pickup in the right flat. Clayton Farrell has 4. Inside the 50 to the 46 as Aquavita makes the tackle. Give Farrell, at least say 5, as they're going to mark him actually at the 46. And again, I'm going to give him 4 because it looks like it's second down and 6.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Clock's down at 6:37 and counting right now in this football game. Bears up by a deuce if you just tuned in. The main stop scoreboard, 21-19, and we have a whistle and offsides against Bryan. I think one of the Bears lined up offsides, and I believe it might be Josh Jones, who's a good step, I think, across the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately for the Bears, that'll set up now a second down and 11 and move that football back into Bears territory at the 49-yard line. Clock stops with 6:29 to play. Again, we're on the Van Wert sideline, up around the 25-yard line, and obviously their crowd here trying to get their guys fired up to stop the Golden Bears offense. And I'll tell you what, the Bears crowd has been active on the other side tonight, and they've had a lot to cheer about. I formation again. Turn. Rittenhouse tripped up in the backfield. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and get maybe a yard. In fact, he'll get 2 as he gets past the original line of scrimmage and advances that ball just across the 50-yard line. But it will be a third down now and call it a long 9 for the Golden Bears.
See what the Bears do here.
Clock moves to 5:45 and it's still moving. Rain picked up just a smidge. Instead of getting 1 drop every about 30 seconds on me, now I'm getting 2. I formation again for the Bears. Peter looks everything over, goes under center. Drops back, wants to throw. He's got an out. He's got his man. It's caught. 40, 35, 30-yard line. Bears pick up the first down, and what a great night the Bears are having here tonight.
Colt Arthur.
Now, that was Colt Arthur, not Farrell. You saw 22 from the PA, but it was Colt Arthur, and he's having a good night tonight, Chris.
Yeah, in just a minute I can tell you what he has.
Arthur with a little out down in the flat, caught the ball, then spun in. Got away from the defensive back and moved the football up to the 31-yard line.
Colt Arthur with 4 receptions and 83 yards right now.
Plus a touchdown tonight too, right?
Absolutely.
First down, Bears, 5 minutes to play. Pitch, Rittenhouse, right in. He's going to get stuffed in the backfield.
It's all right.
That's Williams again, 17.
Clock continues to roll. That's the key.
Loss is only about a yard.
Clock rolling. That's what you got to worry about right now is the clock. You got to get that clock down. You know what I mean?
Van Wert has used one of their timeouts already in the second half, Chris, so they have 2 remaining. Bears with all 3 of theirs, but the Bears don't, as you say, care to stop the clock at this point in time. 21-19 would be just the final ending for this ball game tonight for Coach Redhead.
If the Bears don't get the first down, I think that Van Wert may stop the clock.
4:19. Handoff, Rittenhouse, right tackle. He's got a couple. He's across the 30 to the 29. Third down now and along 7. 4 minutes to play exactly in this football game now. And the rain coming down just a little bit harder. Now I get 3 drops every 30 seconds.
I'm really shocked Van Wert hasn't used the timeout yet. Maybe they're figuring they'll get the ball back.
And they're going to want to use them all at that time. Now, just as you
now
said that.
Brian uses the timeout.
Brian takes one. So
I think Brian has to get their play set up and get it going. They need this first down.
I think that was a really good timeout by Coach Grant Redhead. You're right, Chris.
Although I tell you what, at this point, if they don't get the first down, I let them kick it.
Really? Kick a field goal or
field
punt
goal.
it?
Okay. Field goal.
You're at the 29.
The 29, that makes
36,
it.
That's a 46-yarder.
And it's.
I
guess it's not into the wind. I guess a little bit into the wind.
There's not much wind out there.
No.
I would agree. There's no wind out there. But it'd be about a 46-yarder, depending on how much he picks up. The 3 points makes it 24-19. It's a 5-point game. Doesn't really make it it saves you from a field goal, losing on a field goal or safety. But the other side of it is,
I guess you go for it on 4th.
If you go for it on 4th and make them burn one of those timeouts on this down to save that time for the 4th down, I don't know. It's a chess game from here, but we know that there's 3 minutes and 47 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Bears have the ball on the Van Wert Cougar 29-yard line. It's 3rd down and 8. And after taking a timeout, they've got a little bit different look. We've got 2 receivers to the top, 1 wide, 1 in the slot. Nobody here on the home side in an I formation in the backfield.
Sweep left.
Ball is fumbled, but picked up. Peters throws across the middle.
Oh, interference!
Josh Jones deployed. That could vary.
Wow, he just got.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know about that.
Place with the Nate Place had the play on the ball, but it looked like he got an awful lot of the Golden Bear. That will stop the clock with 3:42 to play. Everybody wearing purple and gold were not happy with that call.
Wow.
Everybody wearing red and gray were just delighted.
Looked like he got his head taken off.
Close play. You'll have to watch the replay tomorrow night on BMU Channel 3 at 7 o'clock. Bears will go for it. 4th down and 8. Ball on the 29-yard line. They need to get down to the 21. I formation again. Peters drops. He has time. Looking for somebody to throw it to. Toss it to the end zone. Arthur's got it at the 1. No, it's intercepted. No, it's incomplete.
Incomplete.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
No, wait.
It's
No.
Arthur's. I thought Arthur
caught
had
it.
the ball. He had the ball.
He looked. Wow.
Oh, my gosh. The official down in the corner actually waved that ball off, but Cole Arthur made the catch on an out at the 2-yard line. Knees went on the ground, had both hands on the ball. We could just see his back. We saw the side judge waving that thing off. We looked like maybe the Van Wert guy actually had the ball for a second, and then when the pile came up, Cole Arthur had the ball in his hands.
Yep.
It's 1st and goal for the Golden Bears
Wow.
at the 2. Oh, my gosh. Everybody up here went through about 3 different emotional changes, including me.
Here's the thing. On that, if that had been a pass interference, it would have been 1st and goal from the 2.
Yep. Handoff, Rittenhouse. Touchdown, Bears!
Woo!
We've got a late flag, but it's a sideline encroachment on the Bears, and that won't do us any. That won't really matter.
The sideline infraction means nothing at this point. As long as that's what it was.
That's, I think, what they're calling.
Yeah, so that'll be the PAT
so that is
right
the touchdown. They'll Bears go up 27-19 on the 2-yard Rittenhouse dive. The sideline infraction, I'm not sure who was on the field for the Bears, but I think you might pick from about 30 that were over there watching the left side open up, watching John have a nice big hole to run through. I think everybody was waiting to celebrate, and unfortunately they weren't doing it on the other side of that big white line. Now we're down to 3:03 to play in this football game, and the Bears are up by 8 with the extra point coming. This is a big one right here, Chris.
Yep.
This makes it a 2-score ball game. Colt Arthur will hold the football. Good snap, good placement. Ball is up and through. Josh Jones has had a big night. Colt Arthur has had a big night. The Golden Bears are just 3:03 away from getting their very first victory for Coach Grant Redhead. And I'll tell you what, would this be a big way to start the season here tonight? Well, Coach told us in the pregame show he had a good feeling about this one tonight, you know? My guys have worked hard, he said. They bought into the program. Everybody's walking in the same line. Everybody's doing the same thing. We worked hard over the summer. It's a team that has a lot of talent in Van Wert, but they also lost a lot of talent, and we've got a lot of confidence coming in. And the guys have stepped up to the plate tonight and played a whale of a ball game here in Van Wert.
Absolutely have. I'm updating all of our social media. Please bear with me.
28-19, Golden Bears on the main stop scoreboard. Don't forget, there's a brand new main stop over at the Mike Marathon location right across from the bowling alley, along with their traditional stop down there on Union Street. So 2 main stops in Bryan right now. Main stop, your one stop after the ball game. 29-18, Bears will kick off. And again, you got to believe there's going to be something short. Kelly and Place are deep, but they've not seen the ball all night long, and I don't expect that they're going to see it now. Kobe Palmer is on the 25 on the Bryan side. Gutierrez is in front of us on the 25 on the home side, and they've got a guy in the middle. Between those 3, I think one of them is probably going to touch the football here as Josh Jones approaches, squibs it up the middle. Kobe picks it up again at the 25 to the 30, out to the 35, and knocked down at the 37. And now we're getting a little touchy in the middle as both teams starting to show a little swaggle out here. Harold makes the tackle. Little pushing, little shoving, little bumping. Just the kind of game that the Jones boys like to play, you know? I'll tell you what, it's great to see Brock Miner on the sideline with his team, too. He's been around for a lot of the practices this year. I don't know whether he's with the team right now or if he's going back to school or what he's up to, but it's good to see guys like Brock coming back. And Coach Redhead said, you know, he had a number of the guys coming back from the last 4 or 5 years to visit them at the training camp here this year. Single back in the backfield, doubles on both sides for the Van Wert Cougars. They have under 3 minutes to play. They'll throw across the middle to Kelly. He'll have the catch. He'll be close to the midfield stripe. Blackmore hits Jacoby Kelly for a first down at the 49. Stops the clock with 2:52. Now it is starting to rain just a little bit out here. And the crowd's starting to put their hoods up, and some heading towards the parking lot as their team's down by 9 with 2:45 to play in the game. Blackmore drops and throws. He has time. Throws a little screen pass again to Kelly. Kelly up the left sideline. He'll be knocked down before he gets out of bounds. He's in Bryan territory at the 45-yard line. Give him about 7 on that catch and run. Oliphant makes the tackle. Second down now and 4 for the Cougars.
That was a nice little swing pass out to the left.
And I'll tell you what, the sophomore Blackmore is going to be fun to watch the next couple of years.
Yes, he is.
Young guy has an awful lot of potential. Clock down to 2:14 and moving. Blackmore drops in the pocket. He's got time. He's going
big
deep.
Pass.
But that's got Culler's name written all over it. And Culler will pull down the interception and seal this one tonight down at the 15-yard line.
He telegraphed that one big time.
Keller got in front of that wide receiver.
Down at the 15, is that where it was?
I think it was Bryce Klossing, number 6, down at the 15-yard line. Ball thrown towards the middle.
More like the 16 or 17-yard line.
Yep, I think you're right, Chris. I think you marked him about the 17. But Sam Culler saw it coming, cut off the inside portion of that field and was right there, being about 3 or 4 inches taller than the intended receiver to win that jump ball and force the turnover. And the Bears now with the football and just 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go before they win their first football game under Coach Redhead. Boy, I'll tell you, so many extra points that Grant and I have done as the ball is handed off right up the middle to Rittenhouse, and he'll get 3 or 4. So many of those extra points we've done where he just had to fight his way through a tough Friday night. Going to have something to smile about here tonight. Chris Bryce and I talked about that in the bus here this afternoon. He said, you know, it'd be really nice to see that big fella have a big smile on his face at the end of a Friday night. And tonight, Grant Redhead is going to have a big smile on his face.
Was that Rittenhouse? I don't mean to interrupt.
Rittenhouse that got the
trying to update 23 different things, you know.
John got 3 on that carry. 2nd down and 7. We're down to 1 minute and 27 seconds left to go. Handoff goes to Rittenhouse again. He'll get very little on this one. Doesn't really matter, though, because all the Bears want to do right now is run this clock down.
And they'll get Van Wert will get a timeout.
Van Wert does have 2 timeouts to use, and they use one of the 2 of them right now, hoping for something to happen. But everybody on the Bryan sideline right now are standing and applauding their Golden Bears because this has been an excellent performance by the Bears tonight. And if you can hear that, the student section going crazy over on the other sideline.
They've had a lot to, you know, they've had a long time between celebrations.
It has been a long time between celebrations.
A whole season worth.
Tiffin Columbian comes to our place next week. That will not be an easy night.
Nope, absolutely not.
But you know what? After you win one, if you remember that game at Columbian last year, we started out in the first half and we were playing with these guys, but we were just shooting ourselves in the foot time after time. Eventually, we turned the ball over a couple times. Columbian got the lead, got the momentum, and then they never looked backwards. Maybe this year, with a little confidence and a home field, this could be a ball game next Friday night.
Absolutely. Confidence is the big key.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you that Grant Redhead doesn't think that this is just a 2-win football team this year. I've heard an awful lot of people say, if we could get 2 or 3 this year, that probably would be a good situation. Grant thinks he's got a few more in his holster this year than 2 or 3.
That'd be nice.
I formation now for the Golden Bears. Spread everything out, but I got to believe that one of the running backs is going to get the football, and it is Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse will get back to the original line of scrimmage. And the final timeout of the night by Van Wert will be taken at the 1:10 mark here this 4th quarter. So that'll set up 4th down and 8 yards to go.
He actually
for the Golden
lost
Bears.
a yard there.
Both teams go to their sideline. Do we bring the wireless gear tonight, guys, to go down or not?
We do not.
No problem. So we won't get a chance to go down and talk to Coach here tonight, but you'll want to catch the extra point next week. It will be up on BryanSports.com. I'll play it Friday morning on WQCT as a lead up to the ball game, and I might even try to give the coach a little ringy-ding on the phone there in the 11 o'clock hour on WQCT and just see if the smile's still on his face Monday morning at 11 o'clock. What do you think?
That'd be good. You want some scores?
Let's give me some scores. I'd love to hear scores.
Perrysburg up on Clay 40-7 in the 4th. Rossford losing the Bowling Green 28-19. Archbold 17, Hicksville 6. Ayersville 59, Eden 6. Let's see, Paulding 23, Wayne Trace 21. That's a good game going on right now. Evergreen losing 42-12 to Otsego. Tenora lost to Liberty Center 14-10. Montpelier loser to Lake 26-10. Patrick Henry beats Spencerville 34-10. View over Wauseon 21-15. Edgerton beats Hilltop 48-6. And Delta 53-0 over Toledo Christian. And Holgate loses 40-6.
Well, about the last thing that you want right now is a repeat of the last time we had the ball down here, and the ball went through Josh's hands. Nice snap this time. Big rush, but Josh gets off a good kick. Place will let it bounce. It will take a Bryan bounce and bounce deep into Van Wert territory as it hits on the Bryan 45 and skips to the Van Wert 38 when it finally comes to a rest. And with just 58 seconds left to go in this ball game, and Van Wert down to 0 timeouts.
It's a 42-yard punt.
9-point deficit, okay? I think the Bears can turn the celebratory lights on their side of the field right now and do a little dancing.
I wish this rain would quit for the next 20 minutes or
just
so.
Give us a little bit. It's picked up just enough now that it's getting to be disturbing, isn't it, huh?
Yep.
Next week, obviously, Wycliffe will be at Archbald. Bryan hosts Tiffin Columbian. Yep, turn this thing over the other side. Sorry about that. Archbald is at Liberty Benton. Tiffin Columbian is coming to Bryan. Delta's at Sonora. Montpelier is at Evergreen. Shotgun look right now for Van Wert as they've spread everything out. Blackmore will roll to his right and look to throw the ball down the field. Devontae Royster right there to give him a little shove as he tosses the ball incomplete up the sideline. Other games next week, Napoleon will be at Liberty Center, Wayne Trace at Patrick Henry, Fostoria at Wauseon, and Tiffin Calvert will be heading over to Swanton. Interesting ball games as we're still 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from the start of the NWOAL season. .52 seconds left to play in this one after the incompletion on first down. Blackmore drops back. He throws a little swing pass. Kelly has it in the flat. He's across the 40, steps out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. So Blackmore and Jacoby Kelly has been a very interesting combo tonight. But Sam Keller came up and made the
that was a height
tackle.
thing, man.
Yeah, it was.
The interception, I mean, earlier,
Height
that was
thing
a height thing.
Definitely a height thing.
Yep.
You're right. Third down now and about 4 for Van Wert. Clock stopped with 47 seconds left to go. Bears playing a little bit deep right now. Don't want anything to go behind them. Devontae Royster with a big push. Throw down into the middle of the field. Goes to Kelly. Kelly will have the first down. He'll pay for it, though, right at the midfield stripe. As Damon Belts hits him high, Clayton Farrell got him low, and Josh Jones just came in and wiped them all out.
It's actually, oh, no, it is at the 50. I'm sorry.
40 seconds, and the clock now starts up. 35 and counting. Blackmore will roll to his right. Throws into the flats, got his man, 40-yard line, and out of bounds. So Van Wert.
Storm Pierce with the reception.
Doing a nice
I saw
job.
that one. I was like, Storm Pierce. What a name.
You gotta
for a
love
football
that
player.
great football name, isn't it, huh?
Yep. Or a weatherman.
Yeah, or a weatherman name. Even a better,
Pierce.
even better weatherman name.
Yep.
You're right. 27 seconds now. First down and 10 for Van Wert at the 38-yard line of Bryan. Blackmore will roll left. Throw across the middle. He's got the same guy. Now there's 11. Almost picked off by the Bears, but Kelly on the crossing route. Oliphant makes the tackle. Clock now down to 10 seconds. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. And we've got a whistle.
I think he spiked the ball, Jim.
Ah, okay. Very good. Everybody started moving there. He actually lined up for the first time all night long under center and took a step back and spiked the ball, which was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Kelly is a little hobbly right now. 7 ticks left. Ball's on the 31-yard line of Bryan. Bears up by 9, 28-19 on the main stop scoreboard. Blackmore looking to throw this one deep. Goes across the middle and overthrows his intended receiver, and I think that was your Mr. Storm.
All right, one last play.
2 ticks left. And the Bears now have everybody dropping back deep.
Yep.
They'll let you catch the ball anywhere you want to catch it.
But not in the end zone.
Exactly. Blackmore rolls to his right. Last play of the game. Throws it to Kelly in the flat. Kelly breaks the tackle. Cuts it back up to the middle of the field, but is not going to go very far. And that will do it. And the winless streak for Grant Redhead is over. The Bears win this one tonight. Final check on the main stop scoreboard. Golden Bears 28, Cougars 19. We're going to be back here, and I'm going to try to get down to the field. We do have some wireless gear here, and we're going to try to get a chance to talk to the coach if we possibly can. But before that happens, we'll step away, take a timeout here on BryanSports.com.
Many area residents associate Tony's Car Care with the thoroughness of our detail work. Every inch has to be spotless. People say we have put the detail in detailing for almost 30 years. Now when the engine light comes on your dash, or you need an oil change, tires, or brakes, think of Tony's and understand we take the same pride in our repair work as we do in our detailing. Tony's Car Care, from window tinting to everyday car repair.
I am Tony Signs, and you have my word that we will take care of you.
Every day, busy young executives travel the world in search of that next big deal. And when their plane lands, the first thing on their mind is a great place to stay. When it comes to Northwest Ohio, that's the Plaza Motel. They know the Plaza has the high-speed internet connection they need, all their favorite TV channels, and a great morning breakfast. Next time you touch down in Northwest Ohio, stop by and see why TripAdvisor travelers make the Plaza their place to recharge before they take off again.
Gathering with those we love, we get to catch up and we get to reflect on the past.
It seems like every time we get together, I always learn something new.
Here's the front page of the Columbus Dispatch when we won state baseball tournament, sliding into home plate.
Look at that, the front page. And that's a neat picture.
That was a great memory. I'll never forget that.
At Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, we understand that there are special memories that need to be remembered and shared.
Looking for career opportunities? They're closer than you think. Northwest State has more than 70 degree and certificate programs, so you can start on the path to a rewarding career. Or transfer your credits toward a bachelor's degree. Your future is knocking. What are you waiting for? Opportunities await at Northwest State Community College. Find out more at northweststate.edu.
Okay, I have your order as 1 loaded chicken chunks tossed in hot sauce, Tex-Mex style, with a spinach artichoke dip and nacho chips, a 4-inch roast beef sub on white bread. Your total will be $20.24. We'll have that in 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Sub order.
Sub order.
Sub order.
Thank you.
Introducing loaded chicken chunks. Myros, more than just pizza.
They say there is strength in numbers. In Bryan, we have always taken pride in supporting our Golden Bear student athletes in all of their sporting endeavors. The Bryan Athletic Boosters now have a chance for you to get into the game. If you're Bryan proud, it's time to become Bryan strong. Whether you were a BHS athlete, are raising a BHS athlete, or just love supporting our Bryan High School athlete, this is your chance to be part of the BHS sporting community. Talk to any board member today on how easy it is to join, or contact us at 419-636-4536.
A score of 28-19. Let's see if we can get coach, and I'm going to send it down to Jim. Oh, the coach is going to get doused here. Oh, he got it. Oh, oh man. All right, let's send it down to Jim. It's Jim. Go to Jim. Go, Jim.
All right, Coach Redhead. Tell you what. There you go. There you go. I'll tell you what. You know what? Me and the big fellas, my cameraman, we were talking to the bus today, man, and we said the only thing we wanted to see tonight was a big old smile at the end of the ball game on your face. This looks great.
You know, we finally got it. I'm thrilled. You know, these kids put in so much effort and so much time, and I kept preaching, just keep putting in the time, keep lifting, keep being dedicated and committed, and it's going to change, and this shows it. Okay, we hung in there. We played tough football. Got first downs we needed. Defense played great. You know, I'm thrilled. You know, I got my first win as a Golden Bear.
Congratulations. You know what? You almost got away from that bucket, too.
You know, I'm still a little fleet of foot, but, you know, next time I'm going to tell my trainer, dump all the buckets with 2 minutes left.
I'll tell you what, you did a great job. You said to me several times, the way we're going to win football games, we're going to keep pounding them, and we're going to wear them down. It happened tonight.
Yeah, it really did. They got tired. We didn't have anybody go out with cramps or anything. You know, the conditioning's working, the weights are working. You know, the program's starting to develop, and that's what we want. We want a program. We just want a one-shot team. We want a program that can sustain all the way through.
Tell you what, this was just a team effort, though, tonight, too. I thought everybody on this football team made a play this evening.
Yeah, they did. You know, a lot of guys stepped up. You know, really proud of the kids. You know, they sat there and they've become leaders, and, you know, the seniors are doing a great job. You know, I'm just thrilled for them. They earned this.
Coach, I'm going to let you get into the celebration. You deserve it, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim Funderburg.
Redhead career, Chris, and I think there's a happy boy right now. I don't know whether you got the that on camera or not, but he was just one little stutter step away from getting away from that little bath that he took down here tonight.
Yes, he was. He did a nice job. Fleet of foot indeed. All right, your final score again, 28-19. The Golden Bears with the first win in the Grant Redhead era. It is a good one here at Van Wert. And let's take a look at the statistics for tonight. First, on the offensive side for Brian, Drew Peters was 10 of 23 passing for 139 yards. He had a long of 47, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also rushed 9 times for 4 yards. John Rittenhouse was the beast in the backfield, 27 attempts for 99 yards, 3.66 per carry. 11 was his long, and he had 1 touchdown. It was a 2-yard touchdown on a dive play. Clayton Farrell, 1 rushing attempt for 4 yards. Damon Belts, 3 for 5 yards and a touchdown. Sam Culler receiving, 1 reception for -4 yards, but man, did he do it on the defensive end. Colt Arthur had 5 receptions for 110 yards, 47 was his long, and it was a touchdown. Josh Jones, 2 receptions for 26 yards, a long of 17. Clayton Farrell, 1 reception for 4 yards, and Damon Belts, 1 reception for 3 yards. Taking a look at Van Wert, Lawson Blackmore played really well, 22 for 35 for 203 yards, a long of 31, 1 touchdown. Lawson Blackmore also had 2 attempts rushing, -8 yards, both of those sacks. James Aquaviva, 2 carries for 3 yards. Jacoby Kelly, 10 attempts, 36 yards, 34 was his long and a touchdown. Evan Williams had 2 receptions, or 2 carries for -3 yards. Receiving Bryce Clausing, 1 reception for 7. James Aquaviva, 1 reception for 0. Nate Place, 4 receptions, 55 yards, 28 was his long reception, and he had a touchdown. Jacoby Kelly, 10 receptions for 76 yards. His long reception was 20. Storm Pierce, 2 receptions for 12 yards, and Evan Williams, 4 receptions for 53 yards. Team comparison, Brian had 14 first downs to Van Wert's 10. 7 were on passing, 7 were on rushing. Van Wert had 9 first downs on passing, 1 on rushing. The Bears were 4 of 14 on 3rd downs. Van Wert 5 of 13 on 3rd downs. The Bears actually got 2 for 3 on 4th down, which is big. 0 of 2 for 4th down for Van Wert. Brian had 228 yards of total offense as opposed to 235 for Van Wert. Passing, Brian had 139 yards passing for an average of 6 yards per pass. Van Wert 203 yards passing for an average of 5.6 yards per pass. Brian had 89 yards rushing on 41 attempts. That is an average of 2.17. And Van Wert had 32 yards on 18 carries. The Bears were penalized 6 times for 30 yards. Van Wert penalized 5 times for 29 yards. And the Bears had 2 turnovers. Van Wert had 1 turnover. The Bears lost a fumble and had an interception. Van Wert had 3 interceptions. And the Bears perfect and Van Wert perfect for extra points. Each were perfect. And punts, Brian punted 6 times for 187 yards. Van Wert 6 punts for 200 yards. And so that is what she wrote for the statistics. Jim is back, and he's going to get his headset on. I'll turn him on here. And Jim, good interview. We did get that on camera, so it was nice. It was nice. So that was a great game and a great win for the Golden Bears. First game for first win for Grant Redhead.
Yeah, that was. I'll tell you what. He's one happy guy, and you can tell just the weight that's come off that guy's shoulders. Number of people that came over, some of the teachers, the administrators. Mook was there. Everybody came over to say hi. Congratulations, and it's going to be fun to do extra point with him on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet it is. Let's take a look at some scores around the area real quick before we go,
Cool.
And then I'll let you thank our sponsors one more time. These are the latest scores we have for you. Perrysburg over Clay with 47-7. And then they just popped away. Never mind. It was Springfield over Fremont Ross, 32-39 in the 4th quarter. Ayersville over Eden, 59-6 in the 4th quarter. Ottawa Glandorf in the 4th quarter, 35-13. Lima Senior beat Middleton, 24-17. It's Wapak over Bell Fountain, 16-14. That last reported in the 3rd quarter. Bath on top of Delphi St. John's, 28-21 in the 3rd quarter. It was Coldwater over Kenton, 45-27. That also reported in the 3rd quarter. Swanton and Ottawa Hills reported early on, 23-0, nothing since. Genoa beat Scott, 52-12. It was Bedford over St. Francis de Sales, 44-21. Delta beats Toledo Christian 53-0. Maumee beats Bowsher 21-14. It was Bowling Green over Rossford 35-24. Bryan, of course, beats Van Wert 28-19. Archbold over Hicksville 17-6. It was Otsego over Evergreen 42-12. Liberty Center 14, Tenora 10. Montpelier down by Lake 26-20. Patrick Henry over Spencerville 34-7. It was Fairview over Wauseon 21-15. The Bulldogs of Edgerton big over Hilltop 48-6. North Baltimore over Holgate 40-6. And Paulding loses a close one to Wayne Trace just down the road 28-23. And we got 2 games on Saturday of note. St. John's and Lake Catholic will play, and Elida will play Lima Central Catholic. All the scores available tonight on BryanSports.com. Just take a look at the top of our header, and you'll have all the sports powered by ScoreStream. And we're excited about this one, man.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you, nobody's more excited than Big Chet Dangler. Brian's #1 fan up here with us today again, and great way to open things up. Big Chet's birthday's coming in a couple of days, and he's looking at that as an early birthday present. Big thank you to all the guys that made this happen here tonight with the guys up here on the camera with Dan and Aaron. Eric back in the truck, great job by all those guys. And also the sponsors tonight, the Bryan main stops on both the east and west side of town. AmeriMade Realty, Bryan Ford Lincoln, Krill Funeral Home and Crematory, Northwest State Community College, the Bryan Athletic Boosters, Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home, Andrews O'Neill and Lowe, and Darrow Shirkey Ford. One last thing we've got to do with Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home. The theme nowadays for Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home is a memory that you can pass along to your family and friends. What's the big memory that comes off this field tonight?
I tell you what, I have 2 of them. Can I have 2 of them?
You bet.
The first one is the Josh Jones pick 6.
Yes.
That's the first one.
Okay.
And the second one is the interception by Color as they were driving down deep late in the game.
Yep.
That's the other one.
Those are 2 plays I'm sure they'll tell their kids and their grandkids about here down the road, and we'll pass it along just like the folks want you to do from Oberlin Turnbull Funeral Home.
You know, I forgot to give you the score by quarters because this is
sure,
interesting.
go for it.
You know, we were tied 0-0 at the end of the first.
Right.
And then Van Wert went up 13-0, and then Bryan answered with a touchdown, so it was 13-7 at the half. In the third quarter, Bryan scored again to make it 14-13, and then a lot of scoring happened in the fourth quarter. Bears scored 2 touchdowns. One was that pick 6, and then one the late where Cole Arthur caught it at about the 3-yard line, and then I don't know if it was Rittenhouse or Belts that brought it in from 3 yards out.
Rittenhouse with a touchdown
and
run,
then Van Wert with a touchdown. That was the one where the Jones punt went over, or the punt snap went over his head. He went to fall on it, and Van Wert fell on it in the end zone for the touchdown. So that was the only score they had in the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask for much better of a football game on an opening Friday night. Oftentimes teams are rusty. They got to find their strides. Both these teams played pretty well tonight.
Absolutely.
Equal football game, equal game. A lot of fun to watch and a great way to start everything off here tonight.
Let's go for #2 next week.
Attaboy. We will be home next week. We'll be in Bryan, and we'll actually have Tiffin Columbian coming to town. Don't forget, you can also watch the ball game, the replay of this game tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on Bryan Municipal Utilities Cable Channel 3. Starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and will run several times throughout next week. Next week, obviously, you can pick the game up on WQCT AM 1520 on all of their streaming services on their website or with the TuneIn app. You can pick it up on BryanSports.com. And again, we will be taping the game and playing it back the next night on Saturday Night Live at 7 o'clock on BMU Channel 3.
I tell you what, I'm excited to watch this one. This is a good one to watch again.
This will be a good football game. I agree. It's good to get the bad taste of last year out of the mouth, get back off to a winning season here and a winning start on the road in Van Wert, a ball game that I don't think a lot of people would have picked the Bears to win tonight, but they did a great job.
And, you know, earlier on you talked about, Kevin Klein and the legacy he has. He's now at Defiance, and they had a tough game the other night against Napoleon, and, Napoleon just won that game. Napoleon looks like it's going to be pretty good this year, so they're going to be a big challenge when they come to town.
Yeah, so the next 2 weeks are not going to be easy weeks for the Bears, but you know what? A little bit of confidence can turn a lot of corners for a football team like this one.
Absolutely.
We got just enough seniors on this team and enough, playmakers on this football team and enough want-to on this football team to maybe make some good things happen the next 2 weeks in Bryan. That's going to do it for us tonight again. Bryan wins the ball game here in Van Wert. For my buddy Chris Malinga, I'm Jim Funderburg, and also for Big Chet Dangler. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you next week here on BryanSports.com.